Welcome. Y'all can come on up to the podium if you'd like here. And
I thought it might be useful. I have very little to say, but I put the notes down, attached to a piece of it, and made copies for you all.
sure.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
I'm terribly sorry about spilling on the chair there.
That's all right. Thank you. And what we've got the old real estate tax
Stamps.
card
Oh, thank
and the
you.
new one
Lucy.
to the assessed value, so we can kind of follow along, and then after your presentation, we can ask questions.
Okay,
Make sure we've got all of our data correct.
okay,
And then after the end of today's hearings, we go back case by case, make our determination, and then
Okay.
send you the decision to the 89 Tilden Lane. We'll send you a piece of mail with our decision in that in about 2-3 weeks' time. So
Great.
I'll turn it over to you.
thank you. I will make one note that 10 and 11 are one lot now, and what we're discussing together, I don't know if you've already got that information, but we're talking about 10 and 11 combined.
Okay, gotcha.
No. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll save my apology for my last two questions until I get to them. The thing that was shocking to me was the amount of the increase, 56.99%, let's round it to 57. The house was only built 10 years ago, and this is the first change on the assessment. And I know, well, let me get ahead of myself a little bit. Okay. We don't have the real estate experience to give you a business case to say, this is what the property is worth. I just haven't got the wherewithal to do that. It's the amount of the increase all of a sudden that was shocking to us. If that's what it should be, and we've been making out like bandits for the last 10 years, I understand if it was too low, but I would just like you to reassess it, not reassess it. I would like you to reconsider it.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
The last thing was, 2 points. The middle one here is that we don't know much about real estate, but we do know what our neighbors have paid for or got for in selling properties lately. And I'm not looking at dollar-to-dollar comparison, but I'm looking about increase, decrease, because a couple of the houses have sold a couple times in the last 10 years. And except for really major renovations, like one of our neighbors across that little cove there, they put a whole lot of money in it while the previous owner was there, so we understand why the property sold for more the second time than it did the first time. But I'm just not seeing on ours, there's no improvements on the lot. I mean, we got one of those little, they deliver it on a truck sheds, okay?
Right.
And we put in the generator after the first time it was assessed. But other than that, there's no improvements on the property during that period of time. So under those, and my lack of expertise to give you a better argument, that is what I would very much like you to consider.
Gotcha.
Then I've got the apology part, okay? We were taking care of our son who had major surgery. We moved in with him for 2-3 months. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with what, ever since they did the new Richmond U.S. Postal Warehouse, things have gotten kind of delayed. So somebody was collecting our mail. Once a week, they were mailing it up to us. By the time we got the mail, it was past the deadline.
Gotcha.
So I got a couple of questions that probably would be much more appropriate to ask at that earlier meeting, but we weren't able to do that. So I brought them here just in case either today or somewhere down the road, we could get this information. And the most important one is the first one, which is we'd like to see how the reassessment was done. It's just a big number right now. What is it that really wasn't measured properly before or gone up in value? So that's the first of the questions. And the other was, my wife's family's been down here only for the last 100 years, but I'm more of a newcomer. We've lived a lot of time up in Maryland, and we've seen assessments up there go up crazy over the last 40 years. And what they would normally do is they would quote-unquote grandfather, where it's like, we're going to increase your by 20%, but the state says we only do it 5% over each of the next 4 years. And I was wondering if the county has ever, we're actually kind of comfortable. We're okay. We're retired with a nice bankroll. But I'm thinking, has the county ever considered that as a way to go for those that are being stressed out by large increases? Okay, so I put those two there because I would have asked that of the assessment office if I could have at the time. And unfortunately, I didn't get the chance, so I'm asking you if you can help me investigate those questions. And that's it. That's all I had to say.
So by law, I believe localities have to reassess at least every 6 years. So I think for Lancaster County, we're on a 5-year reassessment schedule. the notice that you received about your real estate change, really the only thing that really increased was the improvement value.
Right.
The land value increased $2,000, but now on the back side of that card where it says what your tax levy would look like, that's assuming that the Board of Supervisors keeps the tax rate at the current 63 cents per 100 of assessed value. So based on the new assessed values and the total revenue from real estate previously, the rate would be about 46% if it were the same. So the Board of Supervisors is going to meet to make changes in May.
They usually deliberate the tax rates in April, and then they set it every single May.
Okay, so the new real estate tax rate would be set probably in May by the Board of Supervisors. Very unlikely that it's going to stay where it is, given
Okay.
the new increases across the board. Now, as far as, let's see, that's one of the questions.
Yeah, the number that really was, as I think you just already pointed out, it's going from 237 to 404 on the improvements.
Right,
That's-
so that's
That's impressive.
57%,
Yeah.
excuse me, increase. And so let's go through square footage, 2477.
That sounds about right. I don't know off the top of my head, but it sounds about right.
Okay. Let's see, 3 bedrooms, 1 and 1/2 baths?
Yeah, it actually, they changed, when we built the house,
Uh-huh.
we didn't do 3 bedrooms. What we did was, it was a 2-bedroom house model,
Uh-huh.
and I've always wanted to have a library. So we have 1 bedroom and a library. And then we did what the builder called a frog, a finished room over the garage,
Uh-huh.
and that's the 3rd room. And somewhere along the line, somebody made the change from it being a 1-bedroom house with other rooms to a 3-bedroom house. I'm not sure what year that happened, but that's how we got there. They counted the finished room over the garage as one of the bedrooms. So I think the argument might be good for saying it's a 2-bedroom house, because that was the original design, and I just repurposed
And
one.
that would make a difference on the bathroom value. No,
So when we first built the house, we were told that it was, we didn't label it 1 bedroom. The thing came back saying it was 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the other rooms don't have
Closets
closets
in 'em,
or
yeah.
anything.
okay.
So, because the library doesn't need a closet.
Yeah, so we didn't argue for it. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's what it was, it's a decision that the county made on it.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, I
So
was
then they
surprised to
changed
see,
it.
I don't think it was this year, I think it was a prior year, it went from 1 to 3 bedrooms.
So
Must have been.
Is there a definition for a bedroom that's,
Well,
other than the closet?
The closet piece, but also we've got to look at what the health department has for the capacity of the septic system.
okay.
So if the septic
Well,
system's
see,
a
then I shouldn't have
2-bedroom
asked them to
septic,
overbuild it then.
then it would be a 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
There are some houses that have offices or bonus rooms above and beyond a true quote-unquote bedroom, where you may have a sleep sofa in there that it's used once a month, once every other month for family, overflow. But, so the bedrooms really goes back to what the size of the septic capacity is.
Okay,
And we can check that if it's a 2-bedroom septic, there should be a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
okay.
Because one of the rooms is bedroom, one's a library, and one's a finished room above the garage.
Yep.
It's supposedly a craft room.
Okay.
But it's a junk room.
Bathrooms, 1 full, 1/2?
Yeah.
1 full, 1/2.
Okay. Forced air for heat, propane? Okay. And then central AC? Let's see.
And the nicest crawl space I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry, it's just,
They put a light in.
anybody putting in that much work, whoops, I keep hitting this thing, I'm just gonna stand
That's
here.
all right. At least we know it's working.
I'm Russian descent. We're like Italians, we wave a lot. I was really so impressed with it. It's like somebody put that much work into it, and then still, when they put the doors, the handles on the French doors, they got them crooked. It's like,
Oh,
it depends
gosh.
on what day of the week it was done, right?
Right.
Okay.
Pier, small generator, you said.
I got it. It's a good sized generator. It runs it runs most of the house, and we have an upstairs, downstairs air conditioner, and it runs one of the two.
Oh, good,
So
okay.
it's like
It's nice.
16,
Yes.
17 kilowatts, something like that. Yeah.
Right.
KW, yep.
So, yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, kind of roughly, so you got 10 and 11 are together.
Yes, they had to be combined. They wouldn't let us build unless we did that.
Okay. And so I'm just sort of curious how your, sort of the house relates to the water and water depth at the pier,
Yeah,
some of
water
those
depth
things.
at the
You
pier
can-
is better than we expected, but it's not great. It's mean low, probably about 2 feet,
Okay,
and that's where the boat goes in, and I take 23 inches, so. There are days I have to wait for the tide to change. There you go. So if,
That's your
If-
pier right there?
no,
No.
that's
Yeah, right there in the
Bill's.
shadow.
No, that's ours, yeah.
Is it?
Boy, that's really skewed, the way that picture is.
Yeah, but we're in the shadow, I think, and
Yeah.
that's our neighbors.
Because if it weren't for the
I don't know.
perspective being done, the distance between the house and the dock wouldn't be as big as it seems.
No, I guess it is ours.
Okay, yeah, that's ours, yes, I agree.
Gotcha.
And there's Bill's, I see it now. Yeah, so
Okay.
we are at the end of navigable on that little cove. And the property line actually goes through the house between the two lots.
Oh, it does
Okay.
right here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on that.
Well, it would be sighted like that angle right there.
Yeah.
Because the lines are parallel to that little gravel road that you see.
Okay.
So the house
There
is
you go.
right in
Yeah,
here?
the house is right there.
Gotcha, okay.
do you have a view from the house?
During the wintertime, when the trees aren't grown in, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we got a great view of the
We
trees.
see right out
It's
there
pretty.
to the creek.
You just can't see the water very well.
Okay.
You can't see the river.
Yeah.
Plenty of water getting out of there, or?
Well, no, the 3-foot mean depth.
Yeah, the
is-
the
no,
2 foot
it's
is
not.
where the dock is, and again, MLW, it probably goes to, Bill Turns is the one on the, right to the right of your cursor.
Yeah.
He's more got like 3, and then.
You got a little
even-
sandbar right here.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sandbar,
yeah.
if you look
So
at it,
it's
it comes
true.
almost all the way over to Bill's dock.
Yeah.
So you get about 3 feet of water
And then
getting out of there?
even
And the
Keith's
best.
dock, which is the big one with the multiple boats on it, he doesn't have 4 feet, not at
No,
one time.
yes, well,
No, because he has trouble getting the centerboard down on a sailboat.
so we have to come and go where it's 10 inches.
Yeah, you get out into the creek, it's great, but you gotta be careful.
It's
Like,
just navigating back
We
here.
keep our sailboat at a relative's dock that's around the corner.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty place.
Questions? I think for us, it's gonna be, again, going back and looking at the improvement value. Because that's the only thing that really has made a significant increase.
We didn't have any improvements, so it's,
So that's the one piece of language, I guess it's challenging is,
yes.
when we say improvements, the improvements is, you have the house, and there's a price per square foot, and everything else is improvements. So a pier's an improvement, a shed's an improvement, riprap's an improvement. It's not necessarily something that you did to improve the value of your
I was
property.
gonna say, the dock has been there as long as the house. is.
Right, no, but that's considered an improvement because it's
Oh, I
separate from just the
understand.
house.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I don't mean to
It's
argue
not
with you
new.
at all.
That's-
Oh, yeah, no, I
that
tell you,
except for the generator and the shed, all that stuff was there.
Before.
When it was assessed 10 years ago. so,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
Okay,
All good, thank you, guys.
Thank you so
We
much.
will send you guys our decision by mail in about 2 to 3 weeks' time.
okay. And is Crystal Way here?
Crystal's right here, yes, sir.
You were so incredibly helpful on the phone, walking me through what's going on. I really want to say thank you.
You
Laura.
called me on good day.
I called you twice, you were good both days, so.
So that means
Just,
that means we owe her 2 donuts now instead of 1, because you called her twice.
Right.
I'm a strong, having been a government contractor for decades, I'm a very strong believer in the power of the donut.
And
Thank
just,
you, guys.
I'm sorry, before you guys go, that initial question, is the assessment calculation available to us? There's a document that I think Crystal can send you.
Already assessment manual that he provided the county, that's about his methodology, that I can email you guys.
It's confusing, it's
a
not,
lengthy document, but I'll be glad, that's what he provided us when we asked that question.
And is there an application of that, is there a worksheet applying that to our property?
No,
government contractor, I'm used to confusing one part.
That's the government way.
That's right.
Do you have any other questions?
Nope, that just seems to be, other people have asked for that, and kind of the best that, his answer is typically, well, it's all part of the equation. So it's not like each property has reference properties that were the properties that were the comps used. It sort of all goes into some sort of algorithm or something in the computer, and it's kind of opaque exactly how that all comes together, but that reassessment manual is kind of the best thing that we have, so.
That's great.
If you read it and have any great epiphanies or anything, please come back
Yeah,
and
let us know.
help us with it.
Yeah,
All 165 pages of it.
yeah, absolutely.
Government document, that's not long.
Yeah.
Thank you all. She's back. Hey, Miss Lamar, come on up. We could have just had you done your presentation with your parents. Save you the trip, but happy to see you back.
Glad to be back, I think.
All right, let me pull this up real quick. One, two,
She's close to the water.
You want to do 31-3 first?
We can do that.
Okay. All right, let's go with that one then.
I actually have pictures of 31-3, if you don't mind.
Sure.
This is just an old oyster house.
Okay.
With no improvements whatsoever. Cinder block. Inside has concrete floors, cinder block walls. Nothing special whatsoever. It has electric and it has a septic tank. But I have never spent a night in that house. It has snakes or sometimes, but it's just an old oyster house. And they said they didn't even look at the house because he said the gate was up and it was locked, which we keep it up and locked. It's on Norman. You might be familiar with that, RJ, that area. But there's nothing exciting. And they doubled it when the assessor looked at it. He doubled it from what the original, he went from 50 to 99. And that was not even looking at it. So he did drop it down some. But still, I think it's a little excessive.
With this being an old oyster house, is it right on the edge of the water, or?
It's maybe 50 feet from the water.
Okay.
Is that at the end of Kellenick Road? At
No,
the end?
ma'am. This one is over in Norman, over in Bertrand, in that area.
Oh, okay.
The next one will be on Kelly Neck.
Oh, okay.
Where I live at is on Kelly Neck.
And I knew a lady, my friend used to live there, down up the road.
All right, so the old assessment, land stayed the same, improvements went up 31,000.
And it's just a pot-belly stove. There's no heat, no air conditioning.
Tar and gravel roof, if there's any tar or gravel left on it.
It's a flat roof.
1925 built?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just an old
Exactly.
oyster
It's an
house.
old oyster house. It even you can see in the pictures where it has the little circular spots where they used to push the shells through.
Yeah, okay. I think we can,
I'm waiting to hit the lottery so we can improve it.
y'all have any questions on this one?
I just think that's right, physical depreciation
Went from 85, I'm sorry, depreciation stayed at 70.
didn't change, but the factor.
Factor went up, 15.
Went up.
And economic
And
depreciation.
Added an economic depreciation. Is there any note
No notes.
on why they added an economic
It just said gate, no access.
depreciation? What body water is this on? Hayden?
They consider it Beach Creek, but we're kind of.
Okay, that's what I was
Kind of
thinking.
overlooking the Rappahannock. We're
Okay.
kind of like across from Urbana. You can see Urbana on a good day, clear day.
I'm putting a 20% economic depreciation, that's just on the improvement. That is weird. I wonder why they would have done it that way. But the factor is definitely something. Okay, yep, I'm good.
I think those are the numbers we're gonna be able to
Yep.
look at doing something with. Y'all have any more questions on that parcel? RJ, Ms. Davis?
No.
All right.
Oh, man.
Think we've gotten our proof
That
and data
was
ready on that
Cut
one.
and dry on that one.
Yes. And then next one is the 2112. That's the one on Kelly Neck Road.
Correct.
17.66 acres.
And I think it increased 46%,
Let's see,
the percentage.
47%.
Ouch.
Um,
It's a modular home. It was purchased from Chesapeake Homes, 2007.
So this is the same one where the value stayed the same, but the improvement, so
Yes,
2007 Chesapeake Homes, okay. 3-bedroom, 2-bath,
correct.
heat pump,
Heat pump.
floors, wood,
Carpeting, mostly carpeting and laminate.
no wood,
No.
okay. No fireplace. All right, metal pole barn, 40 by 60,
Yes,
okay. And then a 3-by-9 shed attached, 8-by-10 shed,
it's a chicken coop.
chicken coop,
Yes, the termites love it.
okay. So that
I don't think a
the
chicken coop-
8-by-10, the 3-by-9, is that all one?
It's two, like a little hen house and then a larger one for the chickens. One was a shed, one was
It's
just,
pretty much just termite? Okay. And then carport,
yes,
and then 8-by-8, another frame shed?
correct.
Okay. Condition of those?
I mean, they're deteriorating. I'm going to have to replace some plywood on the back side.
Okay.
You know, the roofs are going to need to be redone, but not getting any rain in them yet.
And this one factor decreased on this one.
Yeah.
So the physical appreciation.
How old is the pole barn, the 40 by 60 building?
I'm not really sure, maybe 2010, 11, in that area. And the assessor that came and did the assessment, he said he was just here up from Florida helping out a friend. That's not what his normal job was, so. So I was surprised he shared that with me.
Yeah.
The price per square foot doubled on this one too.
That's ridiculous. So he had somebody with him.
Anybody have any more questions?
From Florida?
I have questions from Florida.
Add that to your list.
Well, this is another, we're gonna have to go back and dissect
so.
the improvement part of it.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Anything from you, buddy?
No.
Well, thank you for coming back.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for
And-
listening.
And as you heard, 2 to 3 weeks' time, you'll be getting a piece of mail with both properties in there. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye. Good to see you.
Thank you.
people really messed up, Lord.
All right. You all ready?
Yes.
Glaves? How are you guys? Come on up.
Laves.
Glave, sorry.
That's all right.
You probably get that before, right?
Oh, many times. That's all right. Are you kin to any of the dues in Ashland?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you?
That's where I met my bride, but let's see. Lou Flanagan, who started Dew Real Estate, married Joanne Dew,
Yes.
who's from here.
Right.
Her father was Bob Dew,
Okay.
and he is a second or third uncle on that side of the family tree. So.
Yeah, I had Lou as a teacher in high school.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, I did. Very familiar with the name. Good people. All right, so we're talking about our property, which you have up on the board, and we're looking at sorry, what? Oh, I'm Gail Plave.
And I'm Sandy Spicer-Glave, just so you know who's talking.
Got you.
I figured they knew who we were. I guess they did. So I am questioning, as you guys may know, the evaluation of the improvement to our property from prior to 2020, or 20, excuse me. We went from, in 2022 to 158 to 286,000. And in '23, it was 161,000. So we're questioning what happened. And
We
that-
are too.
Yeah. So,
It looks like from the notes, y'all did some renovation work,
we have,
changed the screen porch to a sunroom,
yep,
That was it.
and that was it. And that was done, looks like the 2023
It
was a
was.
renovation work just for that.
yes.
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 So it went from 158 to 161 for that one renovation.
Right.
And then from that assessment to this one, we jumped up 67%
Right.
in improvement value.
So we were, yeah, that's because,
Okay,
so.
yes.
Wondering why?
Yeah, we're wondering why, and we did have, we did object the first time when we got the hot tub taken off. That was nice. So we were told the reason why we went up is because of our view of the water. And I question why the dwelling is going up, but the land didn't. Seem like the land value would be more valuable if it was that close to the water.
Right.
But it didn't, so I'm trying to understand what happened.
Yeah.
Or why.
So we are close to the water, but none of our property lines touch the water, nor do we have access deed to the
To
water.
any water.
Right.
So we're questioning why we went up. And I also questioned the appraiser, I'm sorry, his name
Assessor?
escapes me. Yeah,
Yeah,
assessor,
assessor.
yes.
Jason Cowan.
Yeah, his parents live across from my parents in Hanover County.
Yeah.
But
Really?
anyway, yes,
It's crazy.
isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah, it is crazy. And you know, he said he had bona fides and all that. I'm not gonna argue that. I'm just saying he's not from this area.
Right.
So in this area, you know as well as I do, because you guys are all from around here, you have my house, which was built 9 years ago, Sandy?
Yeah, in 2015.
Okay.
2015, yep.
Next to us is an abandoned home, which that assessor appraised for $78,000. It is,
Is that,
it's,
So
it's.
I have.
is that this
Yeah,
way?
that's correct. Yeah, that would be Chip husband and Buck husband.
Well,
Well,
it's
yeah, well,
it's
Buck
George-
husband. Yeah, George.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
George and,
husband, yeah, so remember down,
so I do have
and
photo
George
documentation.
owns this property here too.
That's
And
where
this-
that's where their summer property is.
I
Yes.
know
George
exactly
owns
what
a
you're
lot
talking about. Yep,
Down
yep.
there. He's been coming down there since he was a boy.
Yes. Yeah.
He's an excellent neighbor, but, you know.
And his son Chip and Heather live,
Right there,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yep.
But they all live in trailers.
right.
So we
So
have,
that's,
how
you know,
many
that's-
abandoned houses? We're calling them abandoned. People do pay taxes on them, but no one lives there because they're unlivable.
Oh, sure. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
in our neighborhood, we have how many abandoned houses?
So we have 7 abandoned houses or uninhabitable, and we have 7 trailers. I have photo documentation of everything down there that I
With
will
the
give to you.
G-pin numbers on them.
That has the parcel numbers and everything attached with the photos, everything to show you so you can visually see what we're talking about as
Right.
far as the neighborhood goes. You know, we got a pretty high increase of the assessment, and given the state of our neighborhood in which we live in, well, there's nothing comparable down there to our house. And
Right.
our house was, you know, had made a drastic improvement in the neighborhood. When we purchased the property, there was a 2004 mobile home trailer on it. And, but we wanted real estate, you know, we wanted a house. And so we built the house. Her brother was the general contractor. We did a lot of the work ourselves. And so we built us a nice house. It's 12 feet off the ground because of all the flooding that we endure, which I also have documentation of water under my house. Happens quite frequently every year, several times a year. So we have tremendous flooding down there on the point. We also have tremendous flooding on the road coming into our neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
There, and I have documentation of that, photos to show you. Thank goodness I have a truck.
Right here is real bad.
Right,
Yes,
there are
yes.
times
Oh, yeah.
that you can't get through
She's
there.
got pictures of it.
So I have, like I
Yeah.
said, I have photo documentation of that too. And when we have storms, and we know we have storms, there is a field that is on Bald Eagle and Squires Road.
The Carrington Zone.
Yes.
Yes, we
And-
park our cars
and we
there during
park
the
our
Most
cars-
people do, they have to.
We park our cars, we
Yeah.
park our boat, we park our golf cart, and everyone in the neighborhood does that because we will flood down there. So, you know, even though we have a great view of the water, and we have a nice home because we built it, we are surrounded by all of these trailers, abandoned houses. In fact, the 3 abandoned houses to my left, I'm the one that maintains the yard.
She cuts the grass for all
I
of
cut
them.
the grass on all of them to keep down the rodents. And one house in particular has raccoons.
We have
Well,
two-
2 houses
we
have
actually have
raccoons
two-
living in it because we've
That's
seen
all
them
that's
come
living
out.
there is raccoons.
Raccoons and termites.
So what we're trying to say is, you know, if this house was in somewhere else with a lot of nice houses with it, I would agree with this assessment. But Jason told me that, well, this is what I think or we think or could get for this house if you sold it today. And I'm thinking, well, okay, would you write me a check for it?
And he even said, I think it's a little under assessed.
He said it was under
Are
assessed.
you kidding me?
So, I mean, if, you would have to find a very special person that's willing to overlook the neighborhood to,
To buy
buy
it.
it.
Nobody's running to go in there. Now, take it. We have excellent neighbors, except for one. Everybody has one.
it's all right. Don't go there.
We're not gonna name any names.
No,
Okay.
no
Not name
names.
any names.
Okay.
but You know what I mean.
Right.
But other than that, our neighbors are what
Wonderful.
makes the place wonderful.
Oh, sure.
Especially Buck husband and Dale husband.
Yeah,
And they are phenomenal. They're the best neighbors you can have out there.
yeah.
They have plenty of land there. But, you know, they don't have a whole lot as far as, you know, I mean, they live in trailers.
Well-
And they're very old trailers. And
Yeah.
like I said, you know, I have photo documentation of every piece of property surrounding me with the parcel numbers, the owners, and what their houses look like. And, you know, like she said, if we were in a much more desirable point that had nicer homes around it, sure, you could say, yeah, that house would appraise more because of the area it's in.
And we're not on a bluff. Our house, a lot of our property is actually below or
Below
at sea level.
yeah.
So if we were on a bluff, I might agree because we wouldn't flood. When we built the house, the federal mandate for the house was 6 feet up. We decided to go 12 so we could park the cars underneath. I think it's come down since then, because that was because of the hurricane that came through in 2004.
Isabel.
Isabel,
Yeah,
agree,
yeah.
The structure that was on that lot
Was
during
gone, wiped
Isabel
out.
was completely wiped out.
Right.
And the house that was in front of us, Kent Walker, his house was damaged tremendously.
Right.
And he rebuilt. So he's the only house that's in front of us.
Right.
But he doesn't even live there full-time. He's just a part-timer. you know.
Right.
But we live there full-time. We used to have the house in Ashland too, and when, you know, we got a nice offer for our house there, an old house. We decided to move here full-time. I commuted back and forth to Richmond for a year and a half, and then I took an early retirement package. So, you know, we're down there full-time.
Right.
And we are fighting it with the flooding all the time, you know, so, but can I give you the picture?
Absolutely,
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a picture, and I have documented, this is a large photo of you can see the actual subdivision down in there. So that's a Google Earth shot. So this is mine and Gail's property here, the
Okay.
property line.
Yep.
And so everything that's got a T on it is a trailer, everything's got an A on it. So this is abandoned. It has termites and raccoons. This one is got, on the corner, what's his name?
Dave?
Dave. Dave only comes down once a year to work the carnival.
He's right here on the corner.
Right,
Yeah.
he's on the corner. The parents' house, nobody comes down there, ever.
That's right here?
No,
Yes.
the one behind it.
And so that's
Back here.
abandoned.
Yes, that's the
on
parents'
Carly.
house.
This is abandoned too, isn't it? Around the corner?
He comes once a year for 4
Or
or
is
5
it-
days.
What's this one here?
So let me show you
That's
right
an
here.
abandoned house that raccoons live in.
But then
So this
Chip
right here- this
Chip
is
and
Chip-
Heather
Chip-
This
bought
is
that.
Chip's house.
Yeah,
They
well,
cannot
it's-
live in it because it has
We sold to them,
termites.
the bank foreclosed, they bought it from foreclosure, but they're living in a trailer.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
living in the
that
trailer
house is
behind
not
Buck and
livable.
Dale because that's what Buck owns.
Right,
So they can't live in that house because that house has been eaten up with termites.
And it
And they went in
floods.
and tried to fix it up, and the walls were so destroyed that they couldn't. So it's uninhabitable.
but it had so much water damage.
And it
before.
has tons
Mold
of
went
water
up.
damage,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's uninhabitable. Next door on the end, the one right on the end there,
Here?
on Johnson, that's Dave Grogan's house.
Okay.
And he only comes down once a year because he works the carnival. He volunteers to work the carnival. He's a teacher, has a house, I think, in Henrico. He's also the owner of the one on Carlee that's totally abandoned, the one that's got all that trees. No.
No,
this one.
down
No,
one.
right here.
Right? you
It's
go-
got all the trees around it.
Right here.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is totally abandoned, nothing but raccoons live in that house, and I cannot clear that lot because the brush is so tall, I can't do anything with it. I'm not going in there with all the snakes and everything. But you see the house that's right on the corner there, of Carly, up above, that is the parents' house.
That
The
is, right-
parents-
no, right
the
where
one
you
had
were,
first,
right
that
there.
one. So that's the parents' house.
And
That's
that's-
abandoned.
right.
They never come down.
And that lawn is cut because
So
Sandy
if-
does
If
it.
you look at Chip's house, Dave's house, and the parents' house,
So you got four
Every-
right there that are
everything
Yes.
that's
pretty
grass
much
right there,
unabandoned, yeah.
I cut to keep down rodents, snakes. I cut all that grass.
But really, all four of these properties next to yours, in essence, are
Basically,
uninhabitable.
Yes.
they're uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Right, because Dave's on the corner, even though he comes down once a year, it's always flooded underneath his house.
Yeah, there's a lake under it now.
So, like I said, I have partial IDs on those, and I have all the pictures, of the neighborhood. So all of these are pictures of the neighborhood.
And here's Kent's house, yeah, that's the only house.
Yes.
That's the only house that's there, that is a real house, that has,
Right.
that's habitable.
And this is a little modular here?
So that's.
Yes, that's
yeah,
Chesapeake,
Yeah, Chesapeake Homes.
Homes built
Yeah.
that, yes.
Daniel's house, which his increased how much? His went up, his assessment.
His went
assessment as
up
well. We're not
from
here.
180 to 340.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it jumped a lot too.
And then next to that is another modular, that's Donnie and Darlene's house.
It's actually a trailer that has been put on for permanent foundation.
Oh, that's right.
Double wide on permanent foundation?
Yes.
So I missed a trailer, sorry, there are 7 though.
This might make it 8.
Yeah,
I think it
I'll
does.
make it 8, yes it will. My mistake.
That's okay.
One right beside that is Chip's house.
Right
is
here.
the trailer.
Yep.
And then there's a 1940s trailer right to the left of, or to the right of him.
Here.
No,
No,
right on his
goes-
trailer, look at his
Oh.
trailer.
Go up.
Right here.
Just right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There's a
That-
little 1940s,
Little travel
mobile
trailer.
trailer.
Yeah,
trailer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then
Which
right
doesn't
below
move.
Chip is an abandoned house that Buck and Dale used to live in many, many, many years ago. So as you can tell,
Bless
like I
you.
said, I have all of the properties.
Oh,
They have
wonderful.
all of the pictures attached to show you what the homes look like. This is Buck and Dale's property. There's trailers, okay? We've got, this one this is all about ours, and it shows you what our house actually looks like. We've got a view from the top. You know, this is what our house looks like now. And that's where our property line ends, so we're not touching the water. I
Right.
can show you all property lines. This one right here, this is Chip's old house, a cinder block house. So it's there, that's uninhabitable. There
Yeah.
is dirt piles, all the dirt piles there, you know, where he had dirt moved in. And that's in relation to, that's our house. Okay, the next one over, you've got, this is Dave's, he only comes 2-3 times a year. And so that's right on the corner of Johnson. And you can see his house, very rough. Then you've got, this one is a very old trailer behind us. So that's the
That's
travel
where-
trailer.
that's where Chip and,
That's Chip's-
Heather-
Chip's trailer,
Yeah.
yeah. And they live there because, you know, they can't live in the other house because it's uninhabitable. And this is another trailer behind us. This actually belongs to another one there. And this is the trailer that we sold to our neighbor. He had a 1974 trailer, and when he got our 2004, he had the Taj Mahal.
Sure.
So he was happy.
Yeah.
But that trailer is what we originally bought on our
Gotcha.
property. So we just turned it around and moved it to the back lot. Big improvement there. They
Yeah.
took his old 1974 trailer, came in, and tore it down with a machine, and took it out in pieces.
Yeah, they shredded it.
This one right here is the one that's behind us. This is all the overgrowth, the
Wow.
abandoned. It shows you the front of the house, the back of the house. The roof is so swayed back, it's about to fall in.
Yeah, you can tell, yeah.
I wish the fire department could just come and burn it down, because it is a hazard to be there.
Well, they definitely could with the owner's permission.
Yeah, well, Dave probably won't.
There's the kicker.
Yeah, so, you know, here's the parents' house, it's on the corner there, shows the front, shows the back, that tree fell down, I cut all the limbs off of it so that I could cut the grass in the yard.
That's
because
right, that's right here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they never come around, they
Yeah.
never come around. So, I mean, I've got documentation for everything, this one's Bald Eagle here as well. It's a little trailer, I can't even find the tax map for that one. But there's another trailer right back there on that lot. Beside it, there is a house in the woods. There's a house in the woods. And that one hasn't been occupied in probably
Since the 40s, I think you
20,
looked it up.
30 years.
Yeah.
This one right here is the Sugar Shack. That's probably that's what we call it, the Sugar Shack. It's probably who owned the original
The whole
plots of land.
point down there, yeah.
That's been abandoned ever since we purchased there. Nobody lives in that house. Their tree fell down. I'm not cutting up their tree. So you get the point. This is all of the neighborhood right here. The flooding, I've got pictures of flooding. This is where we park park our cars in the lot. This is all of this is just recent. This is 310,
There you are, baby.
okay, going to my house.
It was last week when we had that really
Yeah,
high tide.
exactly.
Here's the road. There's a road there
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
My house, flooding. I've got 2019, 2021, 2022. Look, this is under my house. This is what my house looks like when it floods.
Wow.
And I have 4 little dogs. Do you think they want to go out in that? No. They're like, are you kidding? And so usually they poop on the deck, but
It used to be once or twice a
Hold 'em over
year.
the edge.
That's pretty much it. It used to flood once or twice a year,
You
now up to
don't know
about
where
6
the
days.
yard ends and the bay begins.
No, you don't.
Man. But that's how, I mean, that's what we deal with down there all the time.
Yeah.
Here's my, we didn't get the cars out that time, but luckily it didn't go and ruin our cars. But we got lucky on that. So I just wanted to leave these with you, the documentation to show you the different types of flooding that we deal with. Please take your time and look at them, and I hope that will aid you in making a decision as far as the worth, value of our house.
Absolutely.
You know, we really appreciate you taking your time to take a look at this, and we'll leave these photos with you. For you guys to look at.
And we can return them to you after today.
That's fine, I mean,
Yeah.
I wanted to show you, because nothing speaks louder than actually seeing what's down there. And like I said, even on my property, I show you what the house looks like, I show you all my property lines.
Sure.
I show you what's around me, I even show you from reference the neighborhood, so you can see in reference to my house where these are located. We're surrounded by it. The only real house down there is Kent in front of us,
That's it.
Yep.
you know, and then there may be some on the point, but, I mean,
Well, those are on the other side.
Yeah.
Right,
There's one,
right.
this is,
That's a double wide
double
trailer.
wide modular
Yeah.
on pilings, and that was a house.
That was
they
a
had-
stick-built house.
But they had, I don't know how many hundreds of tons of dirt brought in.
Oh, they
yeah,
had to,
raised
right.
way up, we
Raised
never
that
flood.
up, Yeah.
Yep.
But
I wouldn't
we
want to stay there.
flood a lot.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. I mean, like I said, what makes it for us
Angel,
down there
baby.
is
The view and
the
the,
view and the neighbors. We
Tranquility,
have really
yeah,
good
yeah.
neighbors, except for one.
Yeah.
Not gonna name any names.
well,
But I just
I,
wanted to show you the pictures so that you can see.
Oh, no.
so Skylar, Casey, and my daughter Izzy are best friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was coaching basketball, and frequently I'd have to bring
Them stuff.
Skylar and
So it's their property, that's it.
her brother, Keegan.
Yeah,
back
Keegan,
home.
Yes.
yes.
And then they had a little party for the 8th graders, so y'all probably saw
We
a
did.
bunch of 8th graders going out and
Absolutely.
fishing and stuff, so.
Oh, yeah,
I
we were,
might have taken some of them out
yes, we
fishing
did,
myself.
yes,
All right.
because they were out there in the kayaks,
Yes.
weren't they?
Yeah.
And so we were out on our boat, we were helping them fish with helping their lines and stuff
Well,
like that.
thank you, 'cause
Oh,
I know
you're
they,
welcome.
they really enjoyed that being down there, but,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we have a great community. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, when we first bought down there in 2009, we went down there and she says, I'm not getting out of the car.
This is the true story.
well, is that because the sign when you come in says you are under watch?
No,
and
no,
you-
no,
there's a-
no,
No,
there's a
no,
camera?
that-
You should know.
She'll
No,
tell you
that
why.
was because the guy who lived in the trailer was drinking
Oh, okay.
and partying.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't
And
know.
then she gets me out of the car, we go up the top, and he goes, honey, you guys are the only ones to get out of the car.
Most people
True
just drive
story,
by
swear to God.
and don't stop.
And they had the property up for sale for about 3 months, and then we bought it. So he's like, that's funny, y'all are the first ones to get out of the
Never
car.
get out.
And I wouldn't have got out unless she did.
Right, and you know, I mean, we made a drastic improvement as far as the house that we built in there. I mean, may have been overbuilt for the neighborhood, but we liked our neighbors, because like I said, we bought in 2009 and we built in 2015.
Right.
And so, you know, we like it down there. We deal with the flooding. We don't like that. We don't, you know, and we have our issues with that. But, you know, that's why I wanted to bring the pictures so that you can actually see for yourselves.
Oh, yeah.
The things that we deal with down there, and that should have some effect on the value of the property, I
Sure,
believe.
sure.
I mean, we haven't gotten any increase in our actual land value.
Yeah, the land value did not go up.
But the-
Which to me is kind of counterintuitive. If you're saying the land is worth so much, then why did the land value go up, but it stayed the same?
Well,
From what I
it's,
can tell.
it's probably because of the location of the land being low.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
If y'all weren't in a flood zone, land value might be a little bit different. But
Okay.
also the fact that you don't own any waterfront.
Right.
So if you actually owned waterfront or had access, then that value would probably be higher.
Oh,
So that's probably
okay.
why it's.
Well, you don't own waterfront unless it floods.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
then
We
you
went-
own all
We
waterfront.
we own waterfront when it comes to us,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
and unfortunately,
down there.
you know, I mean, I pray that we don't have any kind of hurricane like Isabel that came through.
I hope not.
But, you know, we're still getting the erosion part. I mean,
Well, just nor'easters, y'all get bit for
Yeah.
nor'easters.
right, I mean,
And
so.
high tides.
Right, so, yeah, but like, sorry.
Going a little long. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
You know, like I said, Buck Husband's been coming there since he was a boy. And he said, right out in front there used to be apple trees, and there was trees out there, and big pines, and, you know, that went out, way out in the water. And I didn't even know that part of his property is underwater now, because it has eroded so much.
Yeah.
You know, so, yes. But yes, please take the pictures, take
Well,
them
I
into
think
consideration.
everyone's seen them. You all have provided us with plenty of information.
Okay, all right.
In fact, if the county's looking for an assessor next time around, they might want to consider all these nice photos and information you provide in case you want to go into the assessing business.
I did do the, I was a census taker in 2020, so I
Really?
have worked for the state.
I mean,
For
that-
the actual federal before.
We've had plenty of people who've given us documentation before, but none with picture and then tax map number. That
Yeah,
was very
it's
helpful.
very
I mean,
helpful.
Well, I mean, I tried to be as thorough as I could so that you guys got.
well, it makes it easier on us.
Could see, you know, what we're referring to, rather than just, you know, normally you just have a tax map.
Right.
Yep.
And you might have Google Earth picture.
I know at least 3 of us up here have been down, so we're familiar with the thing, so
Oh, yeah.
that's helpful.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you all, and we'll let you guys know in the next 2 to 3 weeks' time. We'll send out a mail, a notice with the decision, but looks like to us
Okay,
it will
be
be
careful.
pretty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Well, that nerve.
Another one down Bald Eagle. All right, let me pull up Mr. Conrad here. You all ready to go, Mr. Conrad? Mr. Conrad, how you doing, sir?
All right, sir.
Good. Well,
Old man.
well, we got you right on time here, so welcome, and we'll have you come.
I'm hard of hearing, so I'll stand up here and I got a few pictures to show you.
Okay.
I don't understand. I didn't get anything from the courthouse other than this.
That was your notice on the,
That's all I got,
okay,
and I don't understand anything about it.
okay.
How much it went up, how it went up, or nothing. So I went to talk to the gentleman who was here before, and he let me talk to his son, I think.
You made an appointment with the assessor?
Yeah, he's 714.
Okay, and he maybe talk to somebody else?
I guess it was his son, I think.
Okay.
And that's on, and I didn't get into satisfactory there either.
He didn't answer any questions for you?
No,
Okay,
no.
all right. Well, let's take a look here.
And
It looks like, all right. So, this is an old assessment I'm sorry, here's the old assessment. So it looks like your land value went up $2,000.
Okay,
But the improvement section here, and improvements doesn't mean things that you've done to improve the property. It means anything other than the home, sheds, riprap,
Oh.
whatever. So that value previously went from 213.2 up to 311.3.
yeah. So how much, what,
And so you're wondering, why the heck did it go up $100,000?
right, exactly.
Like everybody else we've heard so far, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, you know, I live in, up ahead of the cove.
Uh-huh.
I've only got 36 foot of waterfront. And here's the pictures of it.
And I pulled your property up here. Let me
Yeah, I saw it.
Let me zoom out just a little bit so we can see. All right, so there's your waterfront is right there.
Yeah, 36 feet of it.
Rocky Neck Road, okay.
And there's the pic, and then there's the dock. Now, see, in 2022, they charged me for 2 docks, well, that's my neighbor's dock. And I had a double garage, and I happened to be there when the assessor come that time. But this time I didn't, I was not there.
All right, let's see.
So actually, I got 36 foot of waterfront property, is all I've got.
Okay. So, looking at the old tax card, let's see what they have on the new one. Brick garage,
Yes, see, I had a double before, but that's not right, it was a single garage.
all right, and then a pier.
Yeah, that's 50 years old.
Okay.
But you can look at it and tell the condition.
Oh, sure. Crab house?
You need the crab house, yeah, that's,
What's the condition of that, would you say?
fair.
Fair, okay.
The house was built in 1960.
Okay, gotcha. And then,
Married 65 years, so,
you have a deck on the house?
no deck. I mean, I got, you know, the back glass, I got cement, so that's no deck.
It was patio. I think you're looking, are you
Patio,
looking
I guess you.
Patio,
would call it.
okay.
Attached, might be to the crab house.
And then there's a frame shed, 12 by 24 shed?
Yes.
Okay. And then you got a generator.
Yeah, but that's the only really improvement I've done. And I did that because there's no way I could handle them manuals anymore.
Sure,
At
sure.
my age.
Is the square footage accurate, 1748? That sound about right to you?
Right, yes.
Okay. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms?
That's right.
No half bathrooms?
No, that's it.
All right. Heat pump for heating and cooling?
Yes.
We said the 1-car garage. Okay. Well, septic. All right. And this has been pretty consistent with everyone who's come before this board to argue their value.
One of my complaints is, you look at that and look at all those shackly boathouses that were built in 1956, and they're all falling down. All of them.
That's Greenville Marina.
That's Greenville Marina,
Yeah.
all them boathouses are falling
Falling
in.
down, yeah,
Every one of them,
Wow.
yeah.
in terrible shape. It was like the place I sold down here in the creek, falling in the creek.
We had another property, remember on the other side that was looking back at Greenville.
I used to own the upper deck restaurant on that season.
Sure you did.
And
Had a mighty good meal there.
I'll tell you one thing.
That's why I look as good as I
The
do.
doctor told you watch your weight so you put it so you can see it. That's what he did.
I said, it should be
That's what
going,
it did?
I said, it should be going down because Conrad is closed down now, so I don't know what's going
And
on.
I sold it to that guy and it's falling in the creek. You know, broke all the windows out of it, everything. It's terrible shape.
What are they doing with it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Done nothing.
That's a shame.
He operated 16 months.
Really?
I sold it to him.
Gosh.
That's just been sitting there ever since.
So falling in. Somebody broke in, broke all the dishes up, all the glass, and broke the windows all out, pulled all the doors off it, all the doctors on.
Oh,
Terrible,
man.
terrible.
The first meal I had there was with Tommy Brent,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Tommy and Mary,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
before I met Ty's son, but Tommy was working with us. And he said, come on up to the county and have a good meal. I said, okay. So he took me by
Yeah,
y'all's place. and-
My biggest night was 400.
Wow.
If I didn't feed 200 a night, I didn't think I was doing nothing.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Wow.
Had 5 cooks, country cooks. I didn't have no chefs, country cooks.
Yeah.
7 waiters. You know, we were busy.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
were busy.
Y'all were an icon.
I mean, that's my complaint, and I was about to, put all them shackle boat houses and that would really, that's, if I was to sell it, who would want to live there I've only got 2 foot of water in my dock. It's mud, you know,
Unless you got a high tide.
unless you got a good eye.
Skiff or something
Like
out
we
there.
have, like lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, what we were seeing with this general reassessment, most of the land values haven't really changed. It's been the improvement values. So, that's where we have leeway to go in and look at, you know, for instance, the pier being in the shape that it's in, and the crab house being in fair shape.
Yeah.
Those are things we can go through and look and see if there's other properties that are assessed at different rates and make adjustments there.
Yeah.
But again, it's odd to us that the land didn't really change. It's all the improvement values, and yours went up 19%,
Yeah.
but everything you've got is not getting better, it's
It's getting worse.
getting worse.
Yes.
Yeah,
By far.
yeah, yeah.
By far. And all the houses around me, just about the one right across from me, is that awful. One up top of the hill is awful.
Yeah, yeah,
It's 33 houses down there, and I'm the only one left. Rest of them moved in. Some
really,
years we call it.
yeah.
It's like we had a preacher one time. He was a has-been.
I tell people I'm abroad here, because I wasn't born here, I was brought here by my wife, who's from here, so does that count for something?
And they say.
You get 50%?
I said, we had a preacher one time. I said, I'm a has-been. We got some here, and you're sent here. If you ain't something right, you're gonna send your waiting here. You know where he's at? He's in Alaska.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
RJ, you got many of those up there?
Yeah, I know that. Hey, I know him well.
Hey, that's our resident expert up there in that Ottoman area.
Yeah, well, his granddad all I meet that many times.
I ate there myself
Yeah.
many nights.
Okay, well, I don't know. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Well, I appreciate you coming before and bringing us that picture, and hopefully, we'll take a look at this, and then in the mail, let's see, 1617 Rocky Neck Road.
That's right.
Get your mail there?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
What we'll do is we'll send you a notice in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, but we'll go ahead and we're making all the
Well,
decisions
see,
on the
the other
cases
guy, when I
today.
was talked to him, he said, I'll let you know something in 8 to 10 days, and I haven't heard nothing. Now, I realize the mail is crazy,
Well,
very much so.
we've also heard from other taxpayers some level of frustration with communication with the assessor and being promised they'll get back to them and nothing ever happens.
Right.
But this board,
Well, you know, at our age, I don't have a big retirement, you know, I'm 85 years old, so I ain't got much time left.
well, I can promise you, you'll get a letter from us in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Okay, well, nice, appreciate y'all taking my time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all want to do this one
While we're at it, yeah.
while we're right here? Let's do this before we work our way back.
Put zeros.
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
So, when we went up there to eat, you know, he had a menu and everything, and Tommy said, no, you don't need the menu. So why? He says, we're getting the seafood buffet,
Yeah.
all fried.
Yep.
It was great.
Everything fried.
So about 3 hours, I got home and I was in the food pantry.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I can
Moved. It was so
remember,
good.
like, vividly as a child, going there, and we'd be at the bottom of those steps, and every step would be, the line would be completely up the steps, in the door,
Yeah.
and that was every single weekend. Friday, Saturday nights.
Yeah,
That place was
place to be, yeah.
jumping. Yeah.
Did you ever go there?
No, I never
And
went
then
there.
just like that.
You know where it is, right?
And all
No.
the way.
If you go to Greenville Creek Marina,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
point, the piece of property on the point.
Like, if
He's
you're looking
been-
at Greenbelt Marina, it's like
It's been a long time.
But I know a girl that
Greenbelt
used to
Marina.
live
Let's see.
Yeah, Richard took me there one time. You didn't leave Humber? No, you didn't.
No.
Right here, Neil.
Okay, wow.
So here's Greenville Creek, here's this place, but yeah, this was it right here. So it was a spot, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that back then someone could do 200 to 400 dinners a night out there, and now there's nothing out there in terms of restaurants and stuff.
Like he said, he had people, he didn't have chefs, he had
Country cooks.
Country cooks.
people around who
Yeah.
knew how to cook good food. I mean, it
wasn't fancy food.
Uh-uh.
just
It
good
was-
old southern cooked food, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fried seafood and sides, you know.
Mm.
It's unfortunate.
It is.
I know. All right, let's look at this one, guys. What did we have?
Right,
for-
being close to the marina, there should be some economic,
We did that on the other one, remember? It was on the other side of the creek. There was one over here that we gave,
If I remember right, we gave him 10% for just for having it across the creek
right,
on the economic.
yeah.
And the picture that he just provided looked a lot rougher than the view from Mr. Setta's across the creek.
Yeah.
I know that's subjective, but
are those boathouses private boathouses, or are those the boathouses, or are those part of Greendale?
It's all part of Granville.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe from when we were
the
looking at
ones
it
he
last
sh-
time.
Yeah, the ones he showed us were these right here,
yeah,
that are all falling down. These have been recovered.
those are all in good shape.
Yeah, these back here, rough.
Wow.
What did we do for, the one beside Irvington, 15%? The one next to the marina?
I'm not sure. It was either 10 or 15.
I thought we did 15 for those and then did 10 for setters because it was across, we got right up in it.
I think you're right. The gun range and the one in
Was
it, they got
15% for
more.
those.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, the white stone.
Well, let's, factor of 106 versus 100 from before.
You can always go back to 100.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what would have factored up since,
I know.
since before. This is that we're supposed to take into consideration, but he may end up paying less taxes than he did before, because his only went up 19%. Whereas the average in the whole county went up 35%. So if you were gonna, I guess as if you did 46 cents on his total assessed value versus the 63 cents on the old value. But we're not here to decide what people pay in taxes.
Yeah, 'cause
But
I mean, he
he'll-
doubled the physical appreciation, so.
Yeah, he was, the factor, I think going back to 100, just to keep it consistent.
What if we
I think
just
you
made
could-
those two changes, factor from 106 to 100,
And then,
with an economical from 0 to 15 because of the close proximity it is to dilapidated boathouses?
Yep. I think that's a good idea.
works for me.
Yeah.
Good
Yep.
for you guys, RJ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Crystal, 19C15, Milton Conrad, we're going to take the factor from 106 to 100, and we're going to give it economical depreciation. There's nothing on it now, we're going to get a 15%. That's it. All right. Might as well just want to continue working on backwards, y'all?
That'll work.
Okay. So Glave. Oh, wait a minute, we have a, email request. All right, let's do that one then.
So we're not,
We'll do the email request, Donna Ranson, real quick. Next. Let's see. She is
This is Donna E. Ransom, and she didn't want to come, but right there as soon as the speed limit changes to 35, almost in front of the vineyard.
Right here, yeah.
And she said it's right there where those strips are, those speed bumps. And
Yep.
she said they hear it all day and all night.
I bet that's annoying as it can be.
Yeah.
That was one of the comments.
All right, so, land value, not much change, 46% on the improvements. Factor, physical depreciation, all stayed the same. We're going to the back with the call on me, I had the email, Neil.
What is this across from?
From
Irvington Vineyard right here.
Okay, yep, there we go.
What's the dog and the oyster used to be, I guess, or?
Hey, man, what a nice picture.
Go back here. And there's some rumble strips here, Neil.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it goes from, I guess, 35, 25, that they say they hear all the time, too. This is Pittman's Drive.
What did the house next to that sell for? I think was that a foreclosure?
This one here?
Yeah.
I think it was.
And I think
Pretty sure it was.
young woman who works for EDA, forget her name, she did some engineering work on our renovation.
Yeah, I think it was an REO.
It was
There you
21.
go. 121, 205, 1.
And we had a couple of people trying to get in there. Is that right? Maybe, yeah, Taylor Cool. It's a pretty darn good comp. I don't know if we can you pull that up on Vaminet?
Yeah.
And see so selling price was 205 and the,
There you go.
what's the square footage on it?
1152. Oh, our guy.
1,300.
So close.
1,300.
Not too far off.
And ours is 1150.
Built 95, so 4 years older, and building value of 172.5. So about the same, almost identical on the building.
She's got the garage. Is this one?
This one does not have garage.
This one has no garage.
Yeah, it was a foreclosure.
So that one was 201,
205.
205, so
So the assessment was 247, sold for 205 and 21. So this one is assessed less. Do we need to look at any other?
they gave the garage 17.6. Is this the old or new tax? It's a new tax card.
Yeah, we don't have the old one.
Crystal, can we get the old tax card for Donna's?
Yeah.
33,423D?
Can you also pull the tax card for, I guess, do we have all the information we need? Is it worth seeing the old tax card on Taylor Cole's house?
That tax map is 33,423E.
E.
So D and E, yeah.
Right, the 2019 for both.
Yes.
Sold tax card.
Yes.
Has anything else sold there on the main drag in recent years? I think it's been a while. Obviously, Bo had that building that was super close to the road and really old forever.
Yeah.
It's probably not a real good comparison.
Not really, not right there.
sold Robert Menino's house further that way, way back off the road. That's again another old, which are
Yeah.
way back off the road. Yeah,
That was back here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Over here, yeah.
I think it was the 28210. It doesn't seem too terrible. What's she saying? Irvington is hot, but it's kind of not quite the hot part of Irvington, being out there. Factor 103, we don't know what the old factor is. Physical depreciation didn't change. Oh, no, never mind, we don't know what the old one was. Total value is 228,500, right?
These are the 2019 cards for Donna and for D and E.
They're both factors of 100.
Okay.
On the old cards, physical depreciation was 3 on Taylor Coles and 7 on
Ransom,
Ransom,
Hardesty.
Hardesty. So the factor, that's something we've been pretty consistent about, right? Going back on the factor.
Yeah.
Physical depreciation went up.
5, 6.
Right, physical depreciation went from 7 to 13%.
Right.
I know daggone well she could get that for it.
Yeah. And I think from a,
You can't even buy a mobile home anymore for $200,000, I
No.
swear.
Is there anything for economical depreciation on either one of those two?
no, I don't think we've seen that for being on 200 or Route 3 or anything like that, though.
I'm just thinking of having the rumble strips in your front yard.
Right.
That's something you have no control over.
Right.
I mean, I think some people, if it was in the market, you know, and they saw those rumble strips and heard it, they might go,
Right.
I don't know if I want that. Like, I don't know if I want to be next to a bridge if I hear the clickety, 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 click,
Right.
you know. But it looks like her house, their house, really is, I mean,
She says she hears it day and night.
It's kind of equidistance between her and the neighbor.
yeah. And Neil, the neighbor, what were they at factor in depreciation?
On the old card.
Yeah.
We didn't do the new card for the neighbor. The old card was 103% depreciation. So going back to 100, again, I don't see where anything's changed in the setting that would multiply your improvements.
So,
If she hears it day and night, yeah, that's something.
Because this rumble strip, do you all want to consider an economic depreciation for both these parcels? Since this one is covered with a bunch of foliage,
Trees,
but
yeah.
these two are right there.
In the opening.
It's, yeah, and it's wide
Yeah.
open, you really don't have any trees blocking it, but
It's fine as me.
maybe 5% for both of them?
Fine,
Yep.
no problem.
You good with that, RJ?
Yes, sir.
All right. So for 33,423D, we're going to take factor from 103 back to 100. And we're going to add 5% economical depreciation.
If we're gonna make the change to E, do we need to see the new tax card? I mean, if that, to bring the factor back to 100 on that?
Probably
bring the
do,
factor-
yeah. Can we get that, I'm sorry, Crystal, the current tax card for E?
Okay.
Just one of them. Yeah, because if we're going to change this one, factor back down,
Yeah, that would,
only makes sense, yeah.
yeah, I feel like, yeah, haven't seen a whole lot of, haven't seen economic depreciation just for being on the main road, but I would disagree that when you're on the main road, that your factor should ever be more than 100.
I agree.
That the setting just isn't right to start multiplying things.
Yep.
Right.
It almost seems like, I don't know how you talk to, but there should be some sort of special consideration given to like the top 5% of assessment increases in the county to make sure that, like that 800 and something percentage thing, that somebody who just doesn't get the mail, or if it's in a state or some sort of weird situation, that somebody just doesn't lose their opportunity, that there should be some sort of something that kind of automatically triggers. It almost makes me wonder, with the problems, and I feel like the last guy had problems too during that assessor review part. Like, can the county hire local appraisers or assessors or realtors or something? Or if somebody wants like to try and help people do a CMA, I don't know, just wondering how you could help people more with this process. Factor went up to 103. And physical depreciation went up to 22%. That's interesting. That's, another thing to consider.
We want-
So-
Well,
So she went
was-
from 3 to 22.
That's crazy. And the house
that-
is newer than Donna's, right?
Yeah, what on earth? But the only thing, and I think just that, so she works for EDA.
Yeah.
And so when we opened up a wall, she came in to look at putting some steel beams in. So, and talked to her a little bit. I would assume that she's probably done some work to the house.
It was a foreclosure too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if her physical but that's where this physical depreciation number, like, it's not just a matter of what year the house was built.
Right,
It seems very random.
definitely.
Right, so in hers is at 13%. So I could see this was 99, and hers is 95. So I guess for Donna's house, we could bump the physical depreciation to, right, this one's older at 95. 22%.
That's pretty hefty.
That's, yeah, we've seen older houses with less. So just not mess with the depreciation. Well,
I don't know that we can without knowing why or what, I mean, what's inside maybe.
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't want to change hers, I guess, and kind of assume that the assessor had some reason for
Right,
that. The
but I do
question would
think we
be
need
for
to
Donna's, do you,
add the 5%.
yeah, okay.
I agree.
All right, Crystal, so we got Donna straight.
Okay, not add anything else, just factor 100 and then 5% economic.
Yes, and then we are going to change 33,423E as well. We're just going to give it an economic depreciation of 5%.
Okay.
Is y'all's memory good enough on the Galave one that you can remember what we did for that other neighbor? For,
Kent
yeah,
Walker?
yeah. Yeah, mine's-
I don't remember,
I don't
but I
remember either.
wish we had the pictures that she brought in for the prior to that we looked at for that area. Because I didn't realize, I guess, the scope of the trailer park that's down there, for lack of knowing what else to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I I don't know, I ran a few numbers on that. But that was at like, if we drop the factor back to 110 and then give them, I did 15% on the economic depreciation, but I'm not sure if maybe they should have more than that, or what do you all think? 'Cause that's kind of the worst case. Aside from maybe the noise nuisance from the gun range, I would think this is probably the worst case of economic depreciation that we've seen.
Right.
But I don't remember what we did
Is
for
it
the other
economic just for the neighborhood, or was we considering that in the flooding too?
I almost wonder if that's a question for Jason. Did you give any sort of, I mean, that to me would be something with his mapping stuff. Do you give people in the flood zone any sort of,
Well, didn't we, for Seta, when his driveway washed, didn't we call that functional instead of
We did,
economic?
yes.
I mean, this kind of holds that same, would flood zone be considered functional then?
oh yeah, no, if somebody went to look at that house and it looked
Yeah.
like some of those pictures, they would have a hard time buying it, I think.
Well,
Crystal,
then, if that's the
do you have written
case.
down anywhere what we did for Mr. Walker? Just to be equal?
Mm-hmm.
With what I had figured, that got her total value back down to like 256, 255 something. Still a bit of an increase, but I guess you could also, if you want to do something for the floodplain, can you just make that functional depreciation and what, 5?
We need to find out with Kent, but I think we gave him some economic relief on the neighborhood too?
Yeah. I
I'm
think
not
we did both.
mistaken.
I think we
We did
did.
both, yeah.
Yep.
Because it wasn't so much their property, it was more what's around them and the flooding that was the real issue.
That must be what it must be like in the bayou with all those swamps and alligators.
I was thinking, kind of, this seems like a Disney
It does,
movie.
doesn't it?
The raccoons,
Yeah, living next.
Bald
door.
Eagle Road, and living in the trailers.
So where exactly in Whitestone is that?
Akron Road,
Okay,
you get to the very end, turn right on Bald Eagle,
okay.
and go all the way down there.
All the way to the end.
So right there where the road splits and you keep left to go to like,
Remember the
Henry
Crawfords, the
Dixon's
Crawfords house we did? It's where the road splits right here.
and- Yeah, okay,
Here's Akron, go this way to Bellows Landing, this way to Bald Eagle.
and that's,
And you just follow us all the way on down to the very end.
got you.
So you got Dimer Creek, Tabbs Creek.
Okay.
Well, I wonder how many more neighbors we're gonna have from down there, because last time it was Carter's Creek.
Hey, what creek is, Long Lane Farm?
Dimer.
That's Dimer?
Right, Kent Walker, the decision was factor to 100 and physical depreciation to 15%.
Now, that would have been something functional or economic.
I don't know why. I thought we
Didn't
gave
do
him,
any economic.
Good.
thought we did.
Can you go back and find the video of us discussing that?
Yeah,
No, please don't. Please don't.
probably could.
Well, those haven't been sent out, we can make an amendment to that one, can't we?
I've given them to Beth, but she hasn't gotten back with me yet, so if you wanted to change something, you could.
Unless he had it on there before, which,
I think what makes this one so different is on that one, I think to some extent, we were influenced by the fact we thought that being on the water there, getting $500,000 for the house didn't seem to be totally crazy, but maybe that ends up
Yeah.
being the question, do we need to go, if we're gonna start putting economic or functional depreciation for, but there's also flood zone and there's flood zone this area. You know, I think there's places that are in the flood zone that very rarely get water underneath of them, whereas this is a spot where.
And you all mentioned setup too, didn't you? On setup, which was from the very first day, it was factored to 100, functional depreciation of 5%.
That was for his road washing.
Yeah.
So we didn't, did he get, he had economic too, didn't he, for the, but that was probably already in place.
I don't know if maybe that was already in place, but you all did add functional depreciation of 5%.
Which one was George said?
That was George said, he lives on Greenville Creek Road.
He was the one that was right across from those new boathouses at Greenville Creek that we were
Okay.
just looking
yeah, with
at.
the drainage
The
problem.
drainage problem
Yeah.
came
With the
right down
drainage
by his
problem,
house,
yeah.
Yeah.
This is way worse than that drainage problem.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because, you know, I do remember saying, because he complained about having to drive past all the trailers and whatever to get to his waterfront property, and we're like, well, that's like everywhere around here.
I mean, in his, it's such a singular
Right.
piece where, yeah, you gotta look past that, but you're on the water, whereas
Yeah.
Glave is a little bit more.
She's
in
kind
the-
of in
thick
the
of it.
weeds.
Right.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one place I've never been.
Where?
Down that road. I don't
Down
think.
here?
No, down this area,
I don't even know where it is.
Well,
it's down to the
I mean,
road, but it's
that's,
all the way.
we can take the factor back down to 110,
I've been down there to the water.
and then we need to determine whether we want to, what kind of depreciation we want to put on the flooding.
Sand, because Dr. Lowe had a house down there.
Gotcha.
I mean, did we do anything else with the factor? I mean, I guess,
And then the Brent.
did we take the Walker's factor to 100?
We did.
Had a cottage down there.
But it was probably 100 before.
Yeah.
I don't think we've gone down anybody's factor much.
Yeah.
And this house is 9 years old.
Carson
Yeah,
Jr.
back
had a
to
house
100.
down there too.
Is that right?
But probably because it was factored 100 in the previous. What did you say, RJ, for what was your proposal?
For Glave, if we just went back to 110 on the factor and then did 15% on economic depreciation,
That sounds good to me.
that put her at the 255,973 for a total value.
I agree with that one.
I agree with that.
Yeah, do you split that up into two different pieces? Part is economic for the neighborhood and part is functional for
I
the
was,
flooding, or?
I was looking at that specifically from the neighborhood, so
Yeah.
I hadn't considered the flood aspect, which I think if you look at both of them, you could probably leave it at the 15%. Or do you think we should distinguish between functional and economic?
Yeah, I guess that's fine, like, if you do 10 and 5, just, or, I don't know, if we do that for her, do we need to look at anything else? No. I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter, the functional and economic isn't a super consistent thing across the board. What really matters is that we're given some sort of a value.
Yeah, I would see functional, something more wrong with the house, the dwelling itself.
Okay.
Funky layout,
So the economic
but
takes into account
economic is
both
something
the
you have no
neighborhood
control
and
over,
the-
that's going to negatively
Okay.
impact, so.
Cool, so 15 on economic.
You
Yep.
don't want to do the factor down to 110 and economic 15?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, Crystal. 35A, 1, 6A. Lave, factor from 113 to 110. And we're going to establish an economic depreciation of 15%. All right, Susan Lamar.
I don't think the raccoons care what their
What is
impact
not-
is.
I think, the value on some of those trailers, those raccoons might be coming in here arguing about their taxes.
I gotta remember that next time I'm down that neck of the woods, or probably raccoons are gonna take me in a heartbeat.
All right, you want to do, let's see. Why don't we do the old house first? That was 31-3,
Okay.
because that's just the old Oyster House.
Oh, yeah.
So we're working backwards.
Yep, so I think with the old Oyster House,
The factor went up,
That's pretty cool stinking little piece of property there.
no
but
doubt.
Beach Creek is also its own
but
animal.
we're not arguing the land. It is a great
Right.
piece of property.
Yeah.
We're just arguing that she's got an old Oyster House that,
Gives you a footprint, right?
I
Oh,
think
more.
the factor
Water
had
in that
gone
creek is sketchy,
down.
too.
Depreciation stayed the same, the factor went down. No, I got that backwards. It went up.
But it was a factor of 85.
Yeah.
Previously.
It went up to
yeah, we're
100.
going to 15 for nothing. It's an old,
Right.
so that's, at a minimum, we ought to go back to that factor.
Yep.
And physical depreciation keep 70?
Nothing's been done to it. It was built in what, 25? Phew, 181. I mean, I realize the footprints were something, but
It's interesting that because you did put an economic depreciation of 20% on it, right?
Yes.
So that is,
I wonder if that's for the water depth.
nice to have a note.
But mind you, he never went and looked at this property.
Yep.
Paid no eyes on it. But took the factor up from 85 to 100. So,
Oh, God.
I think we need to take the factor back down to 85, leave physical at 70, leave economical at 20.
Sounds good.
sounds good to me.
All right.
Neil?
Agreed.
All right, Crystal, 31-3. We're taking factor from 80, from 100 down to 85. That's the only change. We do need to remove under heat, space heater. Take that out. Uh-huh. And there's no fuel, there's no heat in there.
Gosh, 181, it does seem. Oh. What was the, I'm not throwing my eyes on the old tax card. What was the condition and class on the old one?
A and D.
AD, so that stayed the same.
We finished with this one.
All right, 2112.
Well, oh, that's right, these sheds, chicken sheds,
That's right. Yeah.
shacks. Shit. Oh,
So this is, This one, factor went up 3, but physical depreciation came down 5.
Wait,
So,
but the factor went down to 103, right?
Yes.
And the physical depreciation went up from 7 to 12?
No.
Let's see, that's the,
Both, the factor came down 7, and the physical depreciation went up 5.
Right, factor came down 7, which is
Yep.
a weird one, because most of the time they've been going
Exactly.
up, so you can't really do anything there. Physical depreciation also went down, so she had two things kind of actually
The physical,
working.
physical went up, yeah, from 7 to 12.
So those things kind of both worked in her favor, though not as much as she would like. 2007, 2,300 square feet. I do feel like some of these properties with 10, 15, 20 acres are getting a pretty decent
yeah,
price for them, you know?
yeah, they are.
They're kind of surprising, where not like the old days.
Nope.
Y'all want to leave this one alone?
GC, the old one was GC.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could, is there anything from up? Yeah, this is where, right, we're kind of saying it's not so much our responsibility to go through and research market value. Trying to think of. Sold something on Davis Mill Pond, but that's kind of it's a different kind of animal, but got like $450 for that, but the house is bigger, there's a guest house, but there's a basement. Not sure that really helps. What do you think, Jan, is,
Now, this is another one that went from 70 bucks a square foot to 140. That's the jump right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, if you were to put this on the market, I think you'd get precious close to that, but it might be a smidge high, but I know big ones I've done, there was that one that, who had it? Alice and Kelly over there in like that Lancaster, Northumberland line off Pinkersville. That was a modular. It also had a garage.
So it wooded too.
Yeah.
that's surprising to me with some of these kind of more remote with some acreage properties are.
I don't know. The only thing I could see would be either bumping up the fiscal a little bit, but
Yeah.
Does it seem a little weird that none of the improvements have any depreciation,
I saw that, but then,
particularly the
Chicken
garage? The garage one at 36,000, I feel like you see 10% depreciation on. It says, right, there's a note on there that says metal pole barn on for 2013. I guess putting 10% depreciation on there isn't incredibly helpful. But I feel like you could definitely put a 10% depreciation on everything. I'm surprised that there's not, just from what we've seen. That depreciation number just bugs me. I feel like it should be a pretty standard.
I know,
Um,
if it's this, it should be that.
based on on the age, or is there something subjective there, where if they look at the property and it looks nice? Then,
And the hard part is you don't know if they actually put eyes on the property. I wish, I wish in their notes it was yes or no, but. That pole barn, she said was 2010 or 2011?
it says 2013 on here, it says metal
Okay.
pole barn on for 2013.
So, 11-year-old pole barn, I can see good depreciation, yeah.
I could see putting 10%, I mean, to me, it's unusual for there to be no depreciation on any of the
For now,
improvements.
yep.
That's not moving the needle a whole lot on anything, it's only
No.
$5,000 of,
Well, if we take physical from 12 to 15, it's a 17-year-old home,
And then that'll back in depreciation for all these others.
yep.
yeah, I mean, I'm fine
You
with
want to do that?
Yeah,
I think
RJ and Ms. Davis, good with that?
maybe probably list it at $399.
yeah.
Then it would just sort of depend on, could see it going for a bit less, could see it going for a bit, give it a little bit of a,
So y'all do just the depreciation on the pole barn to 10%?
I mean, I think if everything else is older, you might throw 10%
All of them.
All of them?
on all of it.
All right.
And then physical to 15.
All right. 21-12, physical depreciation, we're increasing from 12 to 15%? Yep. And then on the other improvements, going down the line, it's 10% depreciation for each. You want my sheet? Yeah.
Oh, those are yours too.
10% on those. All of them. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Thomas Pole on Tilden Lane. That was the house in Weems. Him and his wife were here. He was the one who said about working for the federal government and not a lot of paper.
Do we need to check anything on
Remember
the
said
septic?
limited views,
Limited use,
shallow water.
shallowish water, but I mean, there in Weems, that's pretty good little spot. $466 total value. There's the bedroom thing. I don't know, do we need to ask for the septic? I mean, it's certainly big enough, right?
I don't know how much of a factor there, I mean,
2,500 square feet. I mean, the library could be a bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Probably could be a bedroom. But yeah, I don't know if changing that. Would actually change any values or not.
certainly from a market standpoint, I'd rather have a 3-bedroom versus a 2-bedroom, but.
Yeah. I think if it's a 2-bedroom septic, then it should definitely be
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah,
a 2-bedroom
but I don't know,
house.
Crystal, can we call over to the health department?
Let me see if I've got anything in our tax map files real quick.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Is that something that changed?
that's what I don't know, I don't know if that impacts the value.
Well, the old card had 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 half bath.
Yeah.
Same as this.
So you
Okay,
would
it's been
think
that way for a while.
that whenever they went to build, you know,
Right.
to get the septic permit and all that good stuff.
So if you build a 3-bed, let's see what the septic is. Let's say you get a 2-bedroom septic and you build a 2,500 square foot house, and you choose to have bigger common living areas and a library, how does that affect the value? between the library thing is just sort of interesting, because it's a room, to put a bed in it.
Right. That's what I always tell people, is it truly, it's all about your septic, what your septic is
Yeah.
allowing.
I mean, what's the least expensive waterfront property that's sold in Weems or Kilmarnock or Whitestone in 2023? Right, it was GB before, it's GB now. The factor was higher?
Factor,
No, the well,
yeah.
factor was 115, they brought it down to 112, yeah.
Yeah. Physical,
There's a physical and a functional depreciation. I wonder what that's about.
Physical went up from 3 to 7, functional stayed at 3.
I don't know what that would have been back there.
Well, that to me that could potentially be something to do with the bedrooms. Like, hey, you got the square footage, but you built kind of a very personal house.
Yeah.
That's a little bit,
What is, I can't even read his notes.
I know, that's what I said.
No,
I've got bad handwriting.
PVC, something pier, and
Looks like rain.
rain, something was heavy.
heavy rain.
Heavy rain. No PVC?
Pier and heavy rain, I don't know.
Heavy, without PVC for rain, heavy.
No privacy, no,
Good.
who knows?
What is it, done or one? See upside down? That's a one. Right there.
O-N-E?
Oh, it does look like O-N-E.
Yeah. Look like he's writing with his left hand.
Maybe so. Said he had 2 feet mean low water. Maybe that's what,
And he said, this is good or God, one or the other. Good God. Good God. Heavy rain. Okay. He don't have to come back.
Their house is 12 years old. There's no picture of it. There's a sketch.
Oh, that stinks.
All I've got is a Google Earth.
I mean, it looks like it'd be a pretty decent
466,000.
looking house.
The only thing I can think of is that functional, maybe the water depth.
yeah, that's the only thing I can figure.
He said he had
2 feet.
2 feet mean low. And sometimes he had to wait till high tide.
Yep.
They said his boat drew 23 inches. So is that just enough?
Yeah, at high tide.
Do we look at neighbors to see what their factors are? Kind of the big thing that we've been able to do is bring
Tough part is
factors
here,
down.
all the other neighbors have deeper water and better
Right.
views.
And he doesn't have anybody across the creek, it doesn't look like.
No.
So he can walk out.
Whoa, 1,400,000. Okay, so they got,
They had all that. doing all that.
Yeah.
And that.
Oh, they own that too, huh?
He owns this, says it's $500. That's right down the creek.
That's wild.
Must be unbuildable for some reason.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the tax map files, the health department is ready to visit.
Well,
They won't pick up the drive-through.
what I say is,
Just leave it be.
I think they need to contact the health department and make that correctional change with Beth.
Right,
If it's an error that's clerical, then Beth can correct it on the number of bedrooms.
right.
As far as value,
I mean, it seems to me to be somewhat better than like Edgewater or some of the ones that we've looked at that really has no water depth. You're also closer in town. This that factor thing is so random, you know. On one level, I could see the factor being 100 because it isn't like a, but we've not really been lowering it unless what we're doing is kind of returning to a lower one. But I mean, I think total value of 466, if you put a house built in, when was this built? 2012 in Weems with a couple feet of water at the dock on for 466,000, that there'd be a pretty darn good chance somebody would be excited about that. Might depend on the particulars. I guess that's where the,
I guess if you didn't care about boating,
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people who say, I need something with at least 3 feet, or I don't want to
Yeah, it'd definitely be, kayaker.
have mud half the time, yeah.
Kayaker, right, he said that they have a sailboat that they keep at a family member's house. Factor went from 115 to 112. Obviously, back when their factor was 115, they weren't too worried about it, so, I mean, it could be that the factor of 115 was just too,
Yeah, but that's when it was $80 a square foot cheaper.
yeah.
I mean, their house value went from 170 to 350.
I guess, right, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer.
Yep.
Is there, I mean, I don't know. To me, that seems kind of like a 100 factor kind of property where there's nothing about it that's exceptional. I'm not sure I'm thinking about that.
I'm with you.
The
Yeah,
right
I mean,
way.
I don't have a problem with taking factor down to 100 or 105.
Maybe 105.
Yeah,
Maybe they brought it down, but maybe they didn't bring it down enough as kind of the justification, and maybe.
and you want to leave functional at 3% for the water depth?
Again, it's just kind of a random
I know,
number.
I know.
I think I want to try to have kind of a grounded reason for doing it, so I'm being consistent and not just. I mean, it doesn't seem that far off. I mean, I think at $400,000, you could almost argue that's what it would be worth for a 2,400 square foot house in Weems, off water, right? So-
All right, so are we in agreement that we're taking the factor from 112 to 105?
Yeah.
The only change?
I guess.
Good.
Good.
All right, Crystal, 26, 110 for the poles. factor from 112 to 105. All right, George Mintz. All right, what we got on Mr. Mintz? Modular, vinyl siding, formica tops, windows are propped open with wood because they don't make the manufacturer anymore.
What's the least expensive waterfront you've appraised recently, Jan?
I mean, it looks like he would have a pretty, at least a decent view there, if nothing more. Kelly Neck, I would think you'd have pretty decent water.
Yeah, he's got good water right there.
And there's something, right, that went under contract like that on Kelly Neck for like 535, right? It was bigger and I think it was kind of a post and beam, kind of cool looking house, but
Right.
I don't think anybody was worried about the water pollution or
I know.
bottom of the
I
boat
didn't
getting.
realize that. I didn't realize that they've been putting signs everywhere.
Well, he was just talking about the "Don't harvest oysters from here" sign. How's that? Because the oyster harvesting folks are getting pickier.
All right, this is the one that's under contract.
Yeah, very different type of house, but it's also 200,000.
Only thing I think this was on an inlet though.
Yeah,
See, you don't have any navigable water right there.
How
yeah.
about that?
So
Wow.
So
his
even though it
prob-
shows water, you can't get in and out of there.
Huh.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, when I saw that and that one came on the market, I thought, maybe that one won't sell immediately, but it
Right,
sure
right
did.
there, that's,
Yeah.
Hit or miss, trying to get out.
yeah, I mean, that's all mud.
Right.
Super cool looking house on the inside.
I'm
So,
sure.
it's not really a comp, but I think
Interesting.
it's like some of the like the floor of the market has just come up so high. Where you used to be able to get a $200,000, $250,000 waterfront house. Now I feel like double wides
Oh, definitely double
on
wide.
lots are selling for
Yeah.
300,000.
Yeah. There's one I just did on River Road that was under contract for 269, 1,400 square foot double wide. Flabbergasted. I'm like, what? But, I mean, it can be completely gutted. But,
We can do our factor thing on this one. Factor went to 106. So we can bring the factor back to 100.
yep. And he did, I mean, he gave him something for that drainage.
10%.
Yeah.
But
I don't see where it's factored in here.
I don't either.
Or is that a note?
Unless,
Yeah,
unless he added, he took the old physical depreciation 12%
Yeah. Maybe that's just-
and then just made it 21%.
See on the field sheet up at the top there, underneath the roofing?
Where is it?
Right there.
Minus 10% for drainage maintenance,
But we're just trying to figure out where
2019.
where it,
So that was actually on the old tax card.
yeah.
They get rid of that 10%.
Exactly, for to factor in.
Well, because the old tax card had the physical depreciation at 12% and still said minus 10% for drainage maintenance.
Yeah.
To me, that should be
Separate.
economic.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do 10% economic then? We'll leave physical the way it is
Yeah.
and just take the factor from 106 to 100?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, Ms. Davis, y'all good there on that one?
Yes.
Okay. On 20, 159A, we are taking the factor from 106 to 100 and giving it a 10% economic depreciation. That's all for that one. All right, Cameron Forrester. 7-68. What do we have here, Jan? Improvements again?
Yep.
All right. So strictly improvements. Factor went up 3, physical depreciation went up 5. You know, one thing, he added a shed, right? He said he had 2 sheds. The new tax card notes has a second shed,
Yeah,
but the tax card doesn't reflect 2 sheds.
right.
So I think at a minimum, we need to put, you know, shed frame 12 by 15, and then shed frame 10 by 12 to make it correct.
Yep.
And each of them are valued at 1,000,
I guess. 'cause-
Yeah, I mean,
or is one of them not
The
supposed to
first
be
one is 1,012 by 15, and
valued for some
and
reason?
the other one is smaller.
well, that's a new one. "51-year-old house,
New HVAC, you said, but
yes.
Like on Maryball Road, so it's very probably didn't put, we're not putting economic depreciation for that.
he's set off the road a little bit.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's right here.
Do you just remember that from looking at it previously, or have you been to it?
No, I did his, what would it have been? His, dad's house, which is right there. No, which is, oh, it's not in the screen, further down.
Isn't this, Veronica Road?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Okay,
that's the-
so
yeah.
he's just,
Yeah, it's a modest little house.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot there. The shed's not much.
Catherine's mom's house just sold a few doors down.
You know what that went for?
Catherine Emery, remember, I don't remember who had that. Did Shelley have that?
mm-hmm,
That was it a split level?
I think it was.
I never went in it. I just, in the same situation, set off the
Sheds.
road.
I mean, it's like a little, like they keep the lawnmower and stuff in it.
$500 a pop?
probably.
Okay,
Why don't we take the rate from 1,000, we'll put 500 on each shed?
okay.
I mean,
The factor, is there any reason for us to increase it or go back to the 100?
We go back to the 100.
Yeah.
And the physical depreciation, it went up 5 and 9 years for a 51-year-old home.
You know, I mean, it could be anywhere from 20% to 40% for
Yeah.
a home of that age, just from looking at
I
other
know.
ones. I mean, what do you think about market value at 190?
190?
Is that a little high for?
I think it seems a little steep.
It does for a 1,300 square foot house.
Yeah.
Foot house out in Lively on,
If we do depreciation at 35,
Yeah.
factor 100 depreciation.
I like that, yeah.
Works for me.
RJ, Ms. Davis? Mm-hmm. Sound good?
yes.
All right, for 768B. He said the heat pump had been installed, didn't he?
yeah.
So we need to change the heating from baseboard to heat pump? Change the factor from 103 to 100? Physical depreciation from 28 to 35? For other improvements, currently there's one shed, a frame shed, that's 12 by 15. And that's gonna be valued at $500. There's a second frame shed, which is 10 by 12, also valued at $500. Uh-huh. They're both under other improvements. Yep. Correct. All right, Gene Forster. Let's see, y'all want to do parcel 1420 first? Sure. 14-20. All right, that was the large acreage tract, 188 acres.
So is that just putting the fair market value of $1 on that house if no electric and no septic?
That's right, Neil, yep, that was the same one that
Is that what we did for Ronnie? I don't
Yeah.
remember. That's terrible. It was
we
just
gave
yesterday.
him a fair market value of $1.
All right.
Yep. So,
We were being consistent, if there's no septic and there's no electric hooked up to it,
right,
the house is just sitting there
yep.
deteriorating.
So that's 1420, okay.
Was that the only change for that one?
Yeah,
No.
did.
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's
Okay.
the same.
All right, everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay, Crystal, for 1420, we're just giving the dwelling a fair market value of $1.
One other question,
Uh-huh.
because he was concerned about the barns as well, I think, right? And that's not gonna, that $1 value, that's only on the home, is that correct? So, is there any reason to look at depreciating the value of the
The
barns?
barns, we could. 40 by 20, 42 by 44, and 26 by 10.
That's so rare, the rate is so low, it's like they made the value really low, but didn't kind of do it the normal way, right? instead of having a 42 by 44 barn be $15 a square foot and then depreciating.
They
it
just
by-
pull a flat rate on it, so he's probably accounted for some of that then. Well, that was what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Well, we're probably fair with just doing the market value on the house and then leaving the rest like it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
And those numbers seem pretty darn low for how big those buildings are compared to stuff. I mean, I would, but
Yeah, because the others, they have been a square footage or per square foot cost and then like $20,000 value. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right.
All right, 713,
That's his house.
and he said it was a modular, he paid 45,000 for it 47 years ago. Land value did not change. Factor went up from 100 to 103, and physical went up from wait a minute, yeah, from 18
30.
to 30. $932 Lara.
Okay.
All right, so his house is right here. Which is Lara Road right here. And they're saying a fair market value, and that's 238.8.
What is it, sitting on like an acre?
2
Yeah,
acres.
This is what I don't understand, is all of the notes that he made in other improvements.
I noticed that.
That's what he's talking about, is all the new outbuildings in the barnyard and stuff, and I'm not sure that that's on the correct parcel, but I don't know. We would have to pull another card, I guess.
Yeah, so I think
Because
that
there's
was on
no
the one-
way 2 acres encompasses all of the stuff they've got in that
No.
barnyard.
Yeah.
It's a fairly,
Good question.
it's an expansive place, yeah.
So
Was
you-
that stuff there when the property was assessed last time?
So this is.
No, it was in his notes from the old card. And
Right,
those,
it's not on the old card.
2 of those buildings I know have been put up since 19. So they wouldn't have been,
So,
So you think these are on a different parcel, RJ?
well, I'm wondering. I don't know.
well, what would be the other parcel number of
I guess right here,
1412?
12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you click on 12? I mean, or I guess maybe Vaminet would.
So we don't have, no, we don't have.
What's the parcel? 7-12?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, there's a picture of a.
There you go. So
So, all right.
there's
wrong.
oops, 12 by 22, pole barn 40 by 60, another 30 by 46, another one 12. I bet this is all, I don't know why he's got them noted on this card,
I know,
but he's also not giving any value
right.
on this card.
He just wrote it on the wrong
So he
one.
wrote it on the wrong one, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe he did these field notes and then realized that that's just kind of a weird thing. I don't know what to. Outbuilding 6, I mean, it doesn't match up perfectly, but.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable just putting those things on this tax card. We'd have to reach out to him, I
Yeah.
think, and actually get clarification on.
And since he owns both parcels,
That to understand it.
I think 238.8's a little steep for
Lair Road.
Lara Road, a one-story, 47-year-old modular house.
Back down and.
Back down to 100, and then physical depreciation up to maybe 45, 40?
Sounds good.
That's an older,
Yeah, 1977.
and the older modular homes weren't built the way they are now.
Right.
So you want to do 45 functional, and physical?
Yeah.
Sure.
Are you okay with that? 145?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. 7-13, Crystal. We're going to take the factor from 103 to 100. And we're going to increase physical depreciation from 30 to 45. Yeah, 30 to 45. Yep. All right. Good for Mr. Forrester. Now we're going to Andy Ransom.
Do we need the old tax cards for these first couple that we heard,
You go get 713.
field notes?
I thought, didn't Crystal give us those?
She gave us.
We got it on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, this is the note that I made. Oh, right, this is the one where the metal shop wasn't on the old one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the 40 by 8, 40 by 60 was never on the old tax cards.
And then he said he's gotten an 18 by 35
Mm-hmm.
all metal
Shed.
shed.
Yep.
We gotta add as well. Going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Pick these up.
So
And
he,
on that metal, this is what, right, that metal shop, he said he thought it was 20,000.
yes,
Yeah, it was 8 to 10 years ago.
right.
That's what's so weird with that, someone a couple of ago that we were looking at, where it didn't give a rate for the buildings at all. Just the biggest difference.
Objectives got blank value, yep.
Right.
We can depreciate that.
Yep.
Yep, 60% takes you to 19,200, if you want an easy number.
60% on that one metal shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other way of doing it would just be to remove the rate and put the value that. I guess that was the question. Does it matter what he paid for it, or does it make sense that, it sounds like it's a pretty nice building, right? Frame, 6x6, rubber in the middle.
Yeah.
Amish. I don't know how you equalize that, but there should certainly should certainly be some depreciation on it. I just don't know how much what somebody paid for a building like that actually matters from an equalization standpoint. Probably doesn't, right? I mean, the assessor isn't gonna know exactly how much somebody paid for each individual
No.
metal building, and somebody could have gotten a deal on one.
Yeah.
Right.
No way of
Had a
knowing.
cousin or done the labor themselves and got the kit.
Yep.
So the question is that $20 a square foot rate fair, and should there be any depreciation on it? Kind of the same thing, I don't know if there's a standard metal shop. You know, it should also seem like, kind of for houses, as you get bigger, your price per square foot should drop to some extent, but I think we've seen that. You just put 15%.
June the 8th.
It's not that old, right? You said 8 to 10 years old.
Yep.
These
25% depreciation, 20% depreciation.
Well, that, or we can just scratch the rate and just say it's $24,000 value for that building.
All 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Yeah.
I'm fine with.
Let's do that.
Okay.
And then we need to assign a value to the 18 by 35 new metal shed.
It said 11,000, but I don't know, I don't remember how old it was. Was it new?
I think some of the other sheds we've been doing have been 5,000, or they're from $1,000 to $5,000.
All over the board.
Yeah. I feel like maybe $3,500 for that. Anybody, $4,500?
Okay.
A large carport is 2,000. Yeah, I mean, they're just so random though.
What,
What did I see?
I don't know how big the carport is.
Yeah, that one we're trusting the assessor. on.
10 by 18.
Oh, 10 by 18, that's right. So this is a little bit larger, so $3,500? Is
Sounds good.
everybody okay with that? All right. So Crystal, on 1385, the metal shop, 40 by 60 metal shop. We're giving it a flat value of $24,000. And we need to also add metal shed,
We're voting that today.
18 by 35, at a flat value of $3,500. And I think that's only fair, being that he hasn't been getting taxed for the big building, but also he shouldn't be paying double, or more than double what he paid, what it's probably worth now, so I think,
Right.
you know, I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
All right, Neil Poor.
This is a lot.
We got to figure out what we'll start with. Yeah, you want to take a restroom break? Water break? Puppy dog break? the 22nd, 22. So the appraisal was done after the sale.
Iced tea.
The appraisal was done for the bank
They got,
Oh,
they got
because it
iced
was,
tea.
because they were looking at
think they
doing
ordered
refinance.
renovation
Oh,
work.
yeah.
Renovation.
I don't know.
Okay.
Put on
Yeah.
it. Sweet
So does that-
iced tea.
Affect
That's
the
what I
appraisal?
read every
Typically, that's a
day.
pretty strong argument to get the thing close to the appraised value, but when you're appraising it
You
for
tell you
something like
what
that, does that,
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna make it easy,
not
I'm
for
gonna
an
get the fish and
arm's
chip.
length transaction, does that kind of mean that goes out the window for our purposes?
You don't wanna get you a glass of
I
wine or
would
something?
say,
to go with
yeah, it
do
does
you?
go out the window.
That'd be very sweet. I like everything on dessert.
And,
Oh, yeah.
well, that and the fact that
I
it's
used to
based
drink
on subject
Scotch and
to
Coke.
work being done, so.
Yeah, so this kind of thing.
I'm
Not
old-
anymore.
I don't drink it anymore now. You got
All
some,
right, so
anything
really
older you
counts,
get me.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The news is it's lost it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like to drink with
This is
somebody.
that one that
Oh, music.
Vicky Walker
Some
had
people like to drink
listed,
and
is that
fight.
who the thick ones?
Yeah.
Then it, right, so you're talking about it has,
When you go,
Got to
when you go down to Boys Camp,
yeah,
make your first up in Castle Lane,
Yeah.
it's the first right.
and it's the brick.
Yeah,
Okay, you got
right,
yours.
yep. There was Robalis owned it before. Yeah, Anthony and Elizabeth Robalis owned it before
That's their page too.
Tom and Linda.
I guess you'll lose it.
The other, no, you're thinking of the other Thickland's house that was down, Holly Haven. Was it Holly
I
Haven?
don't wanna get mixed up in here and we can't find.
I know.
I think. I don't know. My brain's turning to mush now.
Oh, this guy.
Which one are we on?
The
We're
guy
doing
with
Neil.
with the arm and the
Yeah.
sling.
Neil.
Yeah,
I mean,
152 Castle Lane. Here's the house right here. The brick rancher. There's a pier.
First one, when you turn into a castle.
Boys Camp is right here.
Auckland Road.
Boys Camp Road,
I mean, yeah,
off of Route 3. You
Yeah,
got
I know,
Chesapeake
to the
Boat
left.
Basin right here. There's Indian Creek.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's what you were talking about with that boat ramp, but there was like that, you had like a dock built in at an angle.
It was, yep. And it was right off this side, I think it was. So,
It's an interesting spot, there's not much of a view from there.
no, you're looking right across it. I mean,
I gotta put.
Boys Camp, really, so that
Okay.
won't be,
I gotta
won't be
It's got
developed.
decent water
see
depth.
with a twist of lemon, do it up right.
It's,
So, I mean, 6
Where he is?
I think it's like 3 feet, Neil, maybe,
Yeah.
2.5. It's not
but it's not like,
real deep, but
not real deep, but it's
Yeah.
also not mud flat.
yeah.
Right, you said it's, yeah, you can have it.
So let's look at the old,
Factor 155 seems kind of crazy. It was 150
Okay.
before.
yeah, factor went up.
In the sling.
And what did depreciation do? Depreciation went up a little bit.
Who is,
They added a screen porch for 2022.
do you all?
You see
do you all
that?
Note the time frame on that appraisal that he had.
Yeah, the appraisal
It's close.
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
was done after it closed. The appraisal was done December 22nd, 22. And it's sold December 5th, 22.
Okay.
Which one you doing first?
The house, 2913I.
Let's see, it's okay, return page.
But y'all see on the notes here, it's a screen porch for 2022 under the site.
Do you have any similar properties close to amenities? If the one's a different county, if there's anything that's sold on Indian Creek kind of dredge canal.
I mean, that one that Kelly and Alice had, oh, gosh, it's not, the address would be Castle, but it's literally across the street from this one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, this is the house we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the listing agent?
If y'all want to, this is the house we're talking about right now.
Oh, that's
This is their
That's the one you
home?
thought, right,
Yes,
Neil?
this is the one we're
Yeah,
talking about.
that's what I was thinking.
23A, 2013.
13I, yeah, that's it.
Quiet Cove is the one that just sold.
Oh, that's 13I,
It
13I.
had a
This is 13I, yeah.
decent.
So that's
view.
29, 13I.
Yes, 2913I.
Okay.
So that's Boys Camp in the background.
Oh. So it's on the same side of the road
It's a
that
pretty
Boys Camp
house.
is?
That was a pretty
It's right across the
house.
creek. But yeah, it's
Oh.
on the same road. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Same side.
interesting. It's pretty small. It's wild that they had a big house in Kilmarnock. Yeah, and
big
there's that
box.
dock going at an angle.
That's big, yeah. Oh,
I think the rooms were kind of small. I know when it was
Oh,
listed this
that's
time, I
small.
showed it to a few people.
you gotta clean them up, they don't look so.
One of those where I think the camera's making things seem just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was still, I mean, they had granite and
That's pretty. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, Hawaii. Water. Mm.
They're right here.
Oh, so he got to come out of ways. Get into the deep water.
That's their house right there.
Oh, my dear. What if I can imagine from here? Yeah. And then he cries loud, too.
See this picture right here?
Yeah.
yeah.
That was what they were referring to as the boat ramp before.
Oh, my gosh.
The dock just kind of,
Collapsed to the,
yeah.
oh, gosh.
You
So
see
that's
the
the
bottom
new-
picture?
Yep.
That's the new one down the,
No, that boat ramp right there is no longer there.
oh, that's the one that drowned.
Yeah, he said that's where his boat's parked now.
All right, so, house is 36 years old, brick.
Tractor
Land,
can go back to 150, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
We didn't get there yet.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty house. It's a cool piece of land, but man, tractor at 150. But going below that, I don't know why we would do it exactly unless.
AC 627 smoke.
But these are the ones that seem to be kind of the
Camera.
weirdest. It's like that first house when you touch water,
No.
Yeah.
which is always hard to value.
Right.
So to some degree, makes it hard to make changes, because it's hard for us to value
Right.
too. But I think certainly going back on the factor is consistent with what we've done.
Oh, this is condition A, class A. Wow.
It's a stately looking home, but I feel like it doesn't.
The home's still 36 years old, though.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the
Right.
reason it's why it sold for 500,000. If it sold for 500,000 in 2020,
22?
well, 2020.
2020.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When Neil
Yep.
and Emily bought it.
Yep.
No, 2020 is when his uncle bought it. And they bought it in 2022.
Okay.
So Neil and them paid 505 for it.
Water depths before.
Did you get 600 for that right now with the dock? It's hard to say. It's such a strange little. I think there's some stuff, I don't know, I mean, most of the stuff that people bought in 2020, they could sell it for more than they bought it for.
I think
now.
anything Indian Creek, Diamond Creek down, people are paying because of location. Let's see what else on Indian Creek.
Yeah, go on there. Do you see the one on Quiet Cove? Because that one was a recent sale. That setup was a little bit different.
Okay.
It had better views.
Right here.
Yeah.
So it just sold December. You wanna look at the pictures? Indian Creek, 2 acres.
A white brick, gray brick.
Which road is this down, Jan?
Same, if you're literally the
Oh, it's on the left-hand
driveway-
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So this, yeah, there's the, load basin right there, so.
yeah,
Better view.
yeah. It was kind of funky because you had like an in-law suite as soon as you walk in the front door to your right, and then the rest of the house is to your left. So that was kind of different, but still sold in the 6s.
Doesn't really move the needle a whole lot, right? I mean, I guess $30,000 more, and it's got a couple hundred more square feet. Their house is really neat looking. I don't know that you'd build it today.
600.
So this one sold for 630.
And
Well, by taking that factor down 5,
It helps.
that's gonna do, yeah.
And it didn't look like we need to raise the depreciation much because it looked like it was in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And it went up from the last time, so it's not
Right.
one of those where we could kind of justify adding something to it, because it, and it's not a 1970 house where we've increased the depreciation.
I mean, based on this Quiet Cove sale, I think the comp is there that even now at 605.8, probably around market value.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
I think just
Anything
change.
else, pier, boat ramp, 15% depreciation,
I think just change the factor back.
15%
I'm not sure you
depreciation,
can
change
really
the
do
factor
too
back.
much.
Just change
other
the
than
factor.
Change the factor.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It was AA last time.
Are we all in agreement then we're gonna change the factor down to 150?
Yes, sir.
Neil?
Yep.
Okay. 2913I, we're just changing factor from 155 down to 150.
Has land increased? My guess is there's no way to equalize it, and it's different, but that's a little different. Someone else's land. Or people's lands, they increased, his land went up 20,000.
That's still not much for waterfront.
Nope, I think you could certainly,
And next door, you got $120,000.
yep,
This is 110, so.
yeah, it seems in line a little bit more as you go out, I'd imagine.
That's 125, yeah, you're getting deeper water. All right, let's move on to 23A, 22HJ, which is the river.
Ours just didn't increase much at all.
I think that's, well, commercial, they were kind of all over the place, but
23A, 22HJ.
I think what,
He had some technical.
there were some clerical issues here.
Yeah.
He said the walls are metal. The roof is just shingled,
Yep,
and the foundation's slab.
yep.
But that was it for that. And that was only a 3% change in value. So maybe by Beth correcting those clerical things, that might,
The class changed on it. Did it? Hold on a minute. I'm not looking at them.
class from B to C, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at what they purchased it for, 2015, right, $250,000, and the assessment's 210,
Yeah, I think you just wanted those things corrected and.
pretty right there on with value, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, Crystal, this is 23A, 22HJ. Change the walls from brick to metal. Change the foundation from cinder block to slab. And change the roofing from metal to shingles. And that's more of a clerical admin piece for Beth to change. All right. Let's go 23A, 2313. This is the Salt and Sand Building, which used to be Lipscomb's on the corner. I know this one, there was some measurement differences we'll have to correct. And this one also, we have to correct the roofing from tar and gravel to shingle.
Right.
Other than
It's
that,
only
was there?
1.5 bath.
Correct, yep, from 2 to 1/2 bath.
Depreciation of 20% seems low. My guess is it's gonna be all over the board for the Comartic buildings. I mean, his own ones that are in here are pretty decent. Comps, depreciation 35% for a 1940 building, and this is a 1925 building, and depreciation's 20%.
It was 55, and brought it down to 20.
And this is, sorry, which one are we, is this the,
Salt and
is this the
sand,
salt and sand? I wonder if he was trying to make the value come close to the purchase price or something like that? But, you know, what Neil was saying is that
they
he also
paid
bought.
$317 for it, but
And that was in 2022. I don't know why the depreciation would have gone from 55 to 20.
I know.
And I guess they maybe painted it and put in some floors, but I don't, again, I would like it much more if that number had a base in it, but, you know, I think,
well, how did it lose 30% depreciation?
Yep,
By just painting it and putting some LVL floors in it?
right.
That doesn't make much sense, does it?
I mean, I'm fine going back to.
It's interesting on the commercials, the square footages didn't change much, like, went from 65 a square to 73 a square. You know, like most of these residentials are going up double or, what do you want, y'all wanna go back and look at changing that, depreciation back? I mean, it
Yeah,
was
I think
55
that's-
before, and 20 now, and all he did was paint and took up the old carpet and just put down LVL, so. I mean, you go maybe from 55 to 50?
Yeah, I guess that's the question. Did you bring it all the way down to 20 because of the $3,000 of LVL flooring?
But I think Neil even said it was like $3,000 all in for all the materials and everything.
Yeah, no, he does all the work himself, so
Yeah.
someone else would have paid more. I'm just not sure if how much that's supposed to affect. Is that considered a major remodel? I mean, to me, it certainly looks nicer, but it's not like they tore down all the walls and redid all the electrical. And
I can see from a value standpoint, yeah, because when we tore all of our carpet up at the Antiques Building, it made a big difference. And then the consignment store too, that old grungy carpet.
Yeah.
We just got concrete floors, but it made a big difference.
For sure, I go to 50% depreciation. Well,
Or are you thinking something less, like 45, 40?
No, I think 50 is fine.
Yeah, that's giving them a 5% credit for doing what they did, but not the extent of, they didn't do 35% worth of work in that building. So do y'all want to do that, 50%?
Yep.
Yep.
RJ, Al, y'all doing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 23A, 2313. We've got to change the number of half baths from 2 to 1. Change the roofing from tar and gravel to shingle. And depreciation from 20 to 50. And that's it on that one. And now we've got 23A, 2314, which is the Bay Bistro that they purchased from Jackie Brown there next door to this property.
Oh, did we need to make any changes to the measurements on that building?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, thank you, Neil. Yep. There you go, Crystal. That's just the new measurements on those two sides. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah. No problem.
23A. All right, yeah, so this, y'all remember Carryway Cuisine in Kilmarnock? This is the building that they bought. I know we've got the measurements here, we've got to change the roof, we got to change from tar and gravel to rubber. What else sticks out at you?
Depreciation went from 40 to 35. I mean, I feel like they didn't do a whole lot between.
Paint,
I mean, changing
the
the front of
sign.
changing the front of the store.
yeah, that was pretty much it.
So I think it should certainly be 40,
Go back to 40?
yeah.
Isn't it your class changed from D to C?
See nothing
From D to C?
Where they
Yeah.
added a 35%
Isn't that an improvement?
depreciation to that,
Yes.
Oh,
that
okay.
figure.
I just feel like all those old buildings in Kilmarnock, I mean, you gotta maintain them.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it's hard to know You know, is it the right thing to do to change those things when somebody paints the outside of it?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, not really. That bit of paint makes it look nice for a little bit, but it's not
Right.
really changing how much a 1940s connected slab building with plumbing that's been there for however long is depreciated.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can see going back to D. I could see that it's pretty subjective, C or D for some of those buildings in town, but
Want to go back and change the class to D?
yeah,
The way it
class
was?
to D,
Okay.
depreciation to 40.
All right.
Do we want to see how that affects it, or just kind of let it go? I guess I'm a little bit curious if that actually does
Is,
affect it just for
is
future.
Beth back there, Crystal?
So, yeah.
She might be out to lunch.
No, the other one is
What
that.
about after 4?
Let me see if I can
Early dinner.
make those couple changes.
All right, so the only one that we have held over is the green.
The green,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do this afternoon?
that was all of their property.
Feed the cows? You got cows?
No, don't have cows. No, I
And
don't want
horses?
them. No, they're trying to get one, but I'm chopping my feet. I don't want a horse.
You have chickens?
We do. Got some chickens at the house.
What kind? Red,
They're red.
They
call
can't,
them?
they can just make the change.
No.
I'm a little bit curious, just
They're
to
not
know
Rhode
kind of
Island
for
reds.
future reference, but I can't think of any
They're
other change
reddish
that we
colored,
would
but
Yeah.
make on there.
real pretty brown.
So if it
brown eggs.
doesn't help him, the only help that he gets is the depreciation, then,
You ain't no white lady on
you know, I don't know what else
No.
That's all we can do.
we could do.
And I
Yeah.
don't do roosters either.
So let's make
I
the
want
change
you
and
to-
move
Y'all,
along.
y'all good on this one for, the bistro to take the class from C to D? Correct the roofing from tar and gravel to rubber and change depreciation back to 40 where it was before?
Right.
Yep.
Neil?
Yep.
Okay. 23A, 2314, roofing change from tar and gravel to rubber. Class change from C to D. And depreciation from 35 to 40. And there's two corrections on the front and back. Measurements that should go from 38. All right. We got Mr. Bevan next. Mr. Bevan was off Water Drive.
I think there's two changes on here that we need Beth to make.
Did you do
Potentially look at.
23A J? You did J?
We did, yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just didn't flip it.
Oh, Mr. Bevan?
Yeah, so for the.
The siding?
The house, it had walls framed,
Oh, yeah.
and so there's a question of what it needs to be for T111.
Yeah.
And then I would imagine that on that piece of land where the home site went to 140,000, that changing it back to HSC 212 would get us there, but we probably want to confirm
Right.
that that gets us there, though I think it's almost certain that it does, but I'd like to see what the new value is.
Right.
Well, we'll table this one because Beth's not back there right this second.
I think those couple of things should be simple, and if there's anything, I would kind of hold off discussing on the house until we get that from Beth.
So the land you want to go ahead and change now, then?
Well, I guess we want to see what it looks like when we make the change, just to sort of confirm that making the change
Okay.
actually.
Let's table that
Gets
until
them
Beth gets
down.
back.
So then we're back to the landing, huh?
Landing, yes. Thank you. I was having problems with it, wasn't I?
Yeah. Where we going now? Bevan?
We're going to the landing, which is Windmill Point. 40, D,
3.8.
that's it, yeah.
Dang, heck yeah, he's got a good view.
So the other day when we had one of these, it was this unit right here on the corner, top right corner.
Yep.
So we made a change to all three.
Change the factor.
I think it was a factor on all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's right up on the river there.
Oh, you looked at this, the most recent sale was like 375, but it was also a couple of years ago, right?
You actually did factor and physical depreciation.
Okay. Thank you.
Jane Santulli and his two neighbors factored to 110, physical depreciation to 20%.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Do we have the field notes on this one?
It doesn't look like he, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, there were a couple of properties into it when Crystal started bringing us out.
No, we didn't.
If we're gonna do that, Crystal, I guess we probably want
see if Beth's back.
the tax cards for a few of the
The ones right beside it.
contiguous ones, just to see what all their factors, depreciations, and price per square foot are.
So,
Tax cards,
5, 6, 7. I guess we just want to do these 4 in there, these 3 in there?
Yeah, 5, 6,
and
7.
183, 5, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of those, are we looking for just the new tax cards, or are we looking for the old tax cards and the new tax cards?
Probably the old and new, just one copy of each.
One copy of each for those?
All right, so 3 other parcels, 5, 6, and 7.
Yep, and then the field notes for 8. And Beth is back there. We can. I feel like those back ones were kind of easier in a way, because okay, well, that's just too much. These front ones, just kind of shooting in the dark a little bit, because
Right.
I think people would be pretty excited to see one of those go on the market right now.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It's crazy that all their home site values are the same. I don't,
100,000.
yeah. I don't think that's anything for us to try to figure out.
Hey, Beth.
If a house has T111 siding, and then for walls it says frame,
You can change it, but I don't think the value's gonna change.
you don't think that, but if it's vinyl, it changes versus hardy plank or something like that, right?
I'm not sure. I can monkey with it to see.
Yeah, I guess to see if that matters at all. So I don't know if there's, yeah, I thought at one point we looked at that in vinyl, oh, I can't, versus brick.
I think the assessor told us that. If it's
Okay.
It's vinyl, brick, and cinder.
hardy plank.
Huh?
I
Is
think it's
hardy
hardy
plank,
plank too. If you've got a hardy plank siding and vinyl siding, there'll be different values.
All right, I'll go change my house.
And on this one,
Don't leave.
it's the same person. This, home site is definitely wrong. It went to CS 450. The other land, that's all contiguous to it. Looking at stuff over here. I know we had the, old tax card at one point. Can you look at putting it back to what the old tax card was? It'd be helpful if I could put my hands on the old tax card. Pretty certain that it was,
Here it is. It was C12.
212.
212.
Here.
Okay. Here's both of them. Put that one back to the C212.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big jump.
So are you gonna get, I mean, is this what you're ordering, or am I?
We're just looking to see what the number does to
Okay.
change
Yeah,
it
I'm gonna
back.
check and make sure that it,
Okay.
140 is definitely not correct.
All right. You wanna put it back at 13.5 and leave the residual at 1,500?
Yeah.
I wonder
Yes.
if his intention, if the intent was to put it at 14,000.
May have been, he may have did 140 instead, but
That code,
That code is specific to the value.
yeah,
But if somebody read it wrong on the paper, if they looked at it and saw 140 instead of 14,000, I mean, that's happened. We've
Right.
had that happen in the past with Blue Ridge and even with Wampler, that's just, I mean, that's human error.
Great.
yeah. And I guess where if our order is to change the code instead of the value, then hopefully next time,
Well, if I
The
check-
code stays
yeah,
the
well,
same.
you should- Yes, and you could, if I were you, I think I'd put the code and the value on it. But do you want me to go change it and see what it does?
Sure.
I'll bring you the paper.
Thank you.
And I'll change the exterior of my house.
Here's the little sheets for the subject property, and then here's 5, 6, and 7, 2019 and 2024.
it's a field sheet, he didn't put any notes on.
are y'all looking at the landing?
Yep.
All right, what you got for,
Here's that.
okay, it's the old sheet, yeah. For the landing, what, you want to run down 5, 6, and 7?
Yeah, so there's 5, 6. So what he was saying is right on these, they're all basically the same size,
Mm-hmm.
1960 square feet. So just looking at total assessed value, we've got 442.4.
On which one, 5?
Sorry, so 5, the total assessed value is 442.7.
Uh-huh,
On 6, it's 455.7.
okay,
That one's a little bit bigger.
okay.
Something must have changed. It was 1960 square feet like his, but on the new tax card, it's 2086 square feet, so that one is bigger, and that's the reason for the difference. And then 7 is 442.400.
How about factor? on
Factor is-
Depreciation,
Factor, it went from 150 to 155 on all of them,
150 to 155, okay.
which is what it did on the subject one, right?
And, yep.
Yeah.
And depreciation?
24, 24, 24 on all of them.
Okay.
And they all went from 18 to 24.
And that's same with this one.
It seems from, that was, one was a 39% increase, one was a 43% increase, one was a 42% increase. How much did his increase?
39?
39, okay. It seems pretty consistent.
Yeah. Let's see how we can change this. Get it out. Right?
And,
What were the last sale down there? Wasn't it around mid-4s?
I want to say it was 375 when we looked on.
But none of these have this view, though.
Yeah.
It was over here on this side, I think, right?
Didn't Chris Parker sell his to, Hometown Adult to Mike Chanel?
Right. I'm not sure that that one showed up,
In the MLS.
Not on MLS, no.
in MLS.
That was this past year, I think. Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Monthly transfers, grand tour. Let's go. You rascal.
Should that be a dollar amount there, David, instead of dates? I've never used that before. That was my.
Oh, 2, 3.
Dang.
Let me send him a text message real quick.
Have any of those ever had water in them during Isabella or anything?
Not those, the Beach Cove villas on the left-hand side, they did. They had about 4 feet of sand in them all.
Is there that much topography difference in those two buildings? Wow, wow.
Guess it depends on where this, what direction the storm was coming from, maybe.
Okay, I'll find out on that one. I don't know if there's much we can do from a equalization standpoint on at least the neighboring properties.
The only thing today, I don't know how many of them we look at, but I do kind of think those are on their own. I think lowering the factor on those back ones is the right thing to do, but I don't know that.
Because the view wasn't as nice as being up front, so we
Yeah.
took those down to 110.
The only thing we could do is change them all back to 150. That's something that we've,
Instead of 155.
yeah, because they went from 150 to 155. We don't
Yeah.
have a sale in there. Again, don't know that that moves the needle
Well,
a whole lot. If you, at what point do you trust the assessor, especially when there's that many buildings that are, I mean, it seems like the kind of, yeah, because what's the difference between 150 and 155, if there is? Yeah, only thought, another thing I could think to do is to look at more of them and see
if
that
they're all
makes
the
any
factors are the
difference.
same.
Yeah, but, I mean, and to me, I think looking at those other ones that are closer to the public area, I think that's kind of safe to call them their own animal. If obviously somebody comes in to dispute
You
one of
mean
those,
like
then
over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think that pulling all of those is necessary.
Well, do y'all want to make a node change, or do you want to take the factor back to what it was last time at 150? Yeah, I feel like because we did change the light ship way one, you know, we have leeway to at least be consistent with if we feel like going back to the original factor is appropriate, we can do that, just. And in market value, is that property worth 446.6 now? Probably close to it. I mean,
It is, but we don't know, because nothing has
Right.
sold in there in
Right.
such a long time.
yeah,
And I feel like you just, at this point, because so few things like that are for sale, and all of a sudden there's this demand for low maintenance stuff, that probably threw one of those on there for that, particularly an end unit.
yeah.
I guess you could almost argue him being an end unit
Be worth
and
it more.
being valued the same as the other ones, because you got, an extra view
Yep.
out there. Yes, I think I would leave it. And then, because if we did 150, then we wouldn't need to go check that other row. Because if those are 150, then those should be 150. Should not be higher by any stretch of the imagination. But I could see either way. Obviously, we make more friends by going to 150. It's like, what's the change? Right, it changes it.
What do y'all think?
I ain't thinking that.
Leave it be, or
Poor Ella.
look at changing the factor 5 points.
I said change the factor. Fine.
Down to 150.
What do you think?
That's fine.
I don't have any heartburn with that.
Yep, either. Just, should we pull those other ones and make sure that they're,
Oh, no.
if they're 150, then we're fine, but if they're 155, they should go to 150.
Oh, the others in that cluster?
Yeah, right
Just
there.
the waterfront ones. I don't think we need to,
That's fine.
It'll work for me.
40D, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just a new tax card, just one sheet. That's fine.
Yeah, because he gave us the total assessment, but of course we wouldn't have the
yeah.
factor on them.
Have you all worked with Tommy before?
Ever what?
Worked with him before? He's a real estate attorney from Richmond. Great guy.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Great guy, yeah.
I knew I
Yeah.
recognized the name. I couldn't.
Yeah, now he'll do some stuff for Spencer, like deed prep work. But now all the clients who used to have him do closings, he'll refer to Spencer and them.
That's cool.
But I grew up with his son playing tennis in Richmond. He's done a lot of real estate closings, down here and in Richmond. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got on here for Hutchinson, extra room.
Right.
His is higher, but for some reason Hutchinson's is about 100 square feet smaller.
Maybe you had them mixed up, because you pointed out that one that was bigger.
And even, right at 138, $13,000 by the time you apply the factor. So that's kind of the difference between Eubank and Hutchinson, is that
3D, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
155, 155, 155,
There you go, Neil.
155.
360.
360 was the most recent sale.
Okay.
Chris Parker sold it to Mike Chenault. Mike Chenault then turned around and sold it to, and this was February 14th of last year. And this is one road back from this property. Chris paid $285 for it. He sold it for $345, and then Mike sold it to Ty for $360.
Wow.
And in 2 years.
But there's some stuff on the MLS for 375, right? Is that
Yeah,
considered?
none of this was on MLS, this was all private sales. So, what are the other ones?
They're all 155.
So you want to just take them all down to 150?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
All
If you're
right.
gonna do it, yeah, do them all.
Ms. Davis, that's a good motion.
Here's the one for the home site.
Thank you.
There's some papers back.
Now, let's go on.
You would make a motion.
185, so our
Yeah.
order should be to
Got-
change
gotta
the home
cut,
site
gotta-
to 185 and
You know the
the
deal.
land value of
I
14,100.
love it.
I know.
Okay.
Huh.
Now, on my house, if I change it from brick to hardy plank, the value remains the same. If I change it to frame, T111 or vinyl, it goes down approximately $10,000. Less, a little bit less than 10.
Okay, but T111
T111
frame
Frame are the
and
same
vinyl
The same.
are the same. Okay. So that frame isn't
Hardy plank apparently is better.
hardy
Yeah.
plank and brick.
according to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of the location, it doesn't make a
It
difference.
doesn't make any difference.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Crystal, you ready? 40D38. Mr. Eubank, we're changing the factor from 155 to 150. And we're going to do that exact same thing for 7 other properties. 40D37, 40D36, 40D35, 40D34, 40D33, 40D32, and 40D31. Yep, change the factor from 155 to 150. All right. Now we go back to Mr. Bevan.
So the land is easy, that's what we're gonna do for the land.
What we got for that, Neil? Is that parcel 4?
Yes.
All right, what are we doing with that?
Oh, she changed it back to the,
Home
So
sale.
it should be HS 185, no, we should say HS 185 and land value of 14,100.
Say what now? C-185 is correct code. Um, $14,100.
so that was the old assessment in 2019. That was yours, right? You can know now. So there was just, she changed, what was it?
Yeah, but we got residual of .376 acres on here, but that's not on this new card that she just did for us.
It's not, I think when she does that, it's just showing us the difference in the change that we made, right?
The home site?
That residual will stay on there, I'm pretty certain. All that we're changing is, if you look at his new tax card, we're changing the type from HSC 450 to HSC 185.
But it should be 14,100 instead of 1,400 or 14,000?
That's what she put on there.
I think she made a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if she was looking at that, trying to get it to 14,000, and the HS 185 is the 14,000. Well, they all went up a little bit, right?
That's crazy. Okay, 22B14, everybody okay with changing the class of the type of property to get it from 140,000 an acre down to 14,1 an acre? Where it should be, okay. 22B14, Crystal? Changing the home site from C 450, this is the code, to HSC 185. We're changing the code for HSC 450 to HSC 185. And when she does that, that's going to change the values. All right.
Yeah, that was that corner parcel. That really didn't make any sense at all.
All right, and this is lot 8.
Yeah, that's the house. Did we need to do anything with 4? I don't think we did we?
I think we just did 4.
Oh, that was 4, sorry.
Yeah, that was 4.
Sorry, okay.
8 is the, let's see, look at this one. On the tax card, it says type HSC 190 at 14,000 an acre. So how do we go C 185 and it's 14.1 an acre? I don't get it.
All of these have different.
Okay, well, we're going to assume the tax card is correct. So,
Oh, this is the one that's old.
We need a new tax card for his house,
Yeah.
or the old tax card for his house.
No, we didn't get.
we don't have any of these old tax cards.
Right, 8 he wasn't worried about, right?
Yes, that's the one he wasn't worried about. It was just that one on the corner.
So 8, we're not,
No action.
all right, then we need to take a vote for no action on that. So 22B18, no action. And then we're at 22B111.
You need his old tax card to see what his factor in physical depreciation were in the last one.
Yes.
This, Crystal.
Then we get the old tax card for 22B111.
So you want 2019?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, right, the walls frame, that didn't matter for the value.
Right.
Then,
Said it's no updates, but he had a new roof 10 years ago.
yeah. Hopefully the factor in the physical depreciation
Yeah.
is something to,
There's nothing on here.
Yeah, that was the one, all we did on the one before, we changed this right here from 140.
So literally after
to
today,
14,000.
we've got our schedule
I
for
think
Friday,
That was the only mistake
and then we've
here.
got to do the green is separate, but
And
we're caught up
then
for
the other one,
Tuesday. That's great.
We on now. Oh, no action on it.
on 8 and then 11 is what we're on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pulling the old
Yeah,
PLC on the
okay.
What she's
I'm here.
gonna do with the tavern.
Ms. Davis, you can make the motions on these for
it's
us.
it's gotta be tear down, right? There's no way that
All
would be
that rain.
We waiting now for,
over the roof.
Better to get that one old field sheet for us.
and this is the last one.
Sitting there doing,
We out of here.
it's hard, that's what I'm buying, trying to make it.
See you
We did
Friday.
the first one, right, this morning?
We did that, yeah.
Okay.
It's a shame.
All right, now, don't get like that.
Oh, no, don't you
All
worry.
right.
And then in the midst of that,
All
she
right.
said her husband died. I don't know if it was before the fire or after the fire.
So I went into foreclosure and then she bought it.
You going to some kids.
How the fire?
I don't know, I don't know what I gotta do this afternoon. They
You
got,
got cook?
I don't
Your
remember.
wife work?
yeah.
Because the guy who owned
Yeah,
it before
sometimes I
her
do. Depends on
bought
what's
this
going on.
house down.
You know how to
level
cook
again.
everything?
Most everything.
It was a mess.
Thanks,
I
Glenn.
like cooking. I just don't like cleaning up.
Factor 90, physical
I like
depreciation.
your wife there, because the machine doesn't hang it on the line.
So you could definitely go back to a factor of 90.
Okay.
And physical depreciation went up 2%
Ooh.
for a 54-year-old house, T111 siding.
see, what do you think, 40, 45, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
was it 45?
Yep.
Okay.
Factor 90.
All right, guys, the old factor was 90, and the physical was 30, so we're proposing to take the factor back down to 90 and increase the physical appreciation from 32 to 45.
Oh,
That
okay.
good?
That'll work.
Just noticed a note on this card, it says right of way to river, includes lots 10 and 11, but that still wouldn't have made that corner lot be so wonky, because I don't remember seeing anything on that one. That's bizarre.
All right, Crystal, 22B111. Factor from 93 to 90. And physical depreciation from 32 to 45. That is all she wrote for today.
Yep. Phew.